A spirit box says a name. Minutes later, you find a duffel bag with that exact name, and when the police arrive, they tell you it's filled with animal remains in a forest known for satanic rituals. August 14th, 2025, YouTuber Jasko and his best friend, Chris, ventured deep into a remote Adirondack forest in upstate New York, an area notorious for Bigfoot sightings and occult activity. Armed with only a spirit box, flashlights, and their cameras, they planned an overnight adventure. What they found instead was evidence that the rumors about this place were disturbingly real. A truck kept driving past their campsite, slowing down each time as if searching for something. It happened multiple times, enough to put them on edge before they even entered the forest. But they pressed on, spirit box in hand, hoping to document something unusual.
Oh my god, dude. This one looks like a jungle.
Yeah, this is one of the crazier ones of that.
Johnson.
Oh, is that...
What?
Should we take him out?
No, Chris, what the hell? We just had dinner back at the van. As you can see, the van is right there. We're keeping the lights on. Here's the thing, guys. Something really strange is going on tonight. I don't know how I'm editing this video, but on several occasions tonight, there's been this one truck that has driven past us at our campsite on several different occasions, and it would slow down, almost kind of like it's looking for something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Johnson, is that your last name? Bro, this literally looks like a jungle. Look at that.
It's so grown in. Maybe we shouldn't go.
You hear that?
What is that?
Hello?
Johnson, are you down here?
Johnson's the last thing.
Maybe it's John's son.
Maybe.
Brenda.
Oh.
What is that?
Brenda.
Brenda? Brenda Johnson?
Brenda Johnson. All right, we got a name.
The spirit box started picking up responses, fragmented words. Then a name. Brenda Johnson. Clear enough that both of them heard it. Skeptics dismiss spirit boxes as random radio interference, but what happened next is more complicated to explain. As they ventured deeper into the forest, following the direction of strange noises, they learned more about where they were standing. This wasn't just remote wilderness. This was a place with a documented history, satanic rituals, animal sacrifices, things that locals knew about but didn't talk about openly. And they were walking right into the heart of it.
There's a lot of sensitive topics about this place tonight that we actually didn't know about until we got here. Let me just put into perspective for you guys. This is a place where several deaths have happened, documented deaths. There are some undocumented deaths that have happened as well. Satanic rituals happen here to this day. Okay, let's just keep going. Like I said, this has been like our 6th trail that we've been on tonight. It's kind of been like hit or miss. Very hit or miss.
I feel like someone's gonna like be laying down in the grass and just grab our ankles.
That would suck.
I died here.
Oh, behind us, bro. Shh, listen.
Said, I died. Bro, Brenda Johnson, I died here.
That's so sad.
Bro, look at this. Look straight ahead. Look how terrifying that looks. That genuinely looks horrifying.
He killed me.
Oh! He killed... Wait. Brenda Johnson, I died here.
He killed me?
He killed me. Okay. Who's over there?
Organs.
Organs? What?
Huh?
Recording.
Organs recording.
Hello?
Then they saw it. Just off the main trail, partially hidden in the brush. A duffel bag. Old. Weathered. Sitting in the middle of the forest where it clearly didn't belong. They approached cautiously, and when they got close enough to read the label, everything clicked into place. Brenda Johnson, the name the spirit box had said minutes earlier. Now, printed on a bag abandoned in the woods.
Could be us.
What the f is that?
Ew. Wait, bro, is that a fucking animal? What is that? What am I looking at right now? Oh, thank God.
That's a duffel bag.
Okay, I thought
Chris,
that was...
that's a duffel bag in the forest.
Okay, I mean, it's not any better, but... Hello?
No, you don't get it, bro. The spirit box just said, Brenda Johnson, I died here, and we just found a duffel bag in the forest.
That's not a good thing. Should we? Okay, what's going on? Oh, look at it. It looks like someone like...
Can you hold this? I'm gonna... Fuck, I don't have gloves. They're in the van. Everything's in the van.
You never have gloves.
Decisively.
Decisively.
Oh, it says something on here.
What's that?
Amazon. Amazon. Amazon has bags?
That seems nice.
This looks like something my grandfather would have used. Oh, bro, this is all broken, wet, and damp.
What? What do you see?
McDonald's cards? Arch card? What is an arch card?
I don't know. Well, it's like
Does
clear.
McDonald's have a bank?
Maybe like employees or something?
2007, it says.
I've never seen that before. That's so weird. Arch cards. Okay. Oh. Sorry.
Oh, shit, Chris?
Bro, listen.
Ah!
Oh!
That was a goose, I think. Chris, there's a receipt here. Holy shit. Oh my god, there's a date. Hold on. Bro, January 26th, 2008.
Okay.
There's no shot.
Oh. Hello?
Look at it.
Yo,
Get it.
go. Go.
Are we good?
Oh, stop. Chris.
12.
Should we get the shotgun?
Yeah, probably.
Get the shotgun.
Half things work.
Okay.
The bag was dated 2008, 17 years old. And as they examined it further, they heard footsteps. Close. Getting closer. They didn't wait to see who or what was approaching. They ran back to their van, grabbed a shotgun, and returned to retrieve the bag. Inside, they found a phone. The name on it? Brenda. More items followed, each one raising more questions than answers.
Oh no. Oh god, no, not this. No, bro.
Brenda 0129. Oh, is that the code maybe? Passcode?
Possibly.
Oh, what the hell is wrong with the screen?
Before they could process what they'd found, headlights appeared. A truck. Not the same one from earlier. This one had markings. Forest ranger. Then another vehicle. Sheriff. 2 of them. The authorities were searching for something. And when the officers approached Jasko and Chris, the conversation revealed details that made everything worse.
Is everything alright?
Yeah, we had something up there, but it was nothing.
Anything for us to worry about?
No, it was just a bag and it had some animal remains in it. We were just making sure.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, man.
Okay.
That's great. No, it's all good. Normal. Thanks.
Take care.
Dude, what the fuck?
Oh.
I've never seen...
Okay, so let's put some things in perspective for you guys. That was 2 sheriff vehicles
2 of them.
after we just seen park rangers. So what they just said was they found a bag of animal remains in a forest where satanic rituals have been rumored to happen here with animal remains. Do you not understand how
That's
crazy?
literally like, everyone can question our stories all you want, but that's literally the proof that we needed to know. This shit's real. People are doing rituals in this forest to this day. Dude, I'm so uncomfortable. I know there's nothing to worry about, but what the
Are you sure there's nothing to worry about?
There might be something to worry about. I mean, he said there wasn't. He was very suspicious when he
Is
said
that
it.
another car coming?
Yes.
Again?
I think? Yes. 100%.
It's the park ranger this time. Okay, can you put my phone there again just to record
Audio?
it? Yeah.
How's it going?
Man, I'm yourself.
Pretty good.
Just out camping for the night?
Yeah, we're just out camping.
Alright. Yeah, I saw you guys up at the...
Yeah.
We're just different spot.
Is everything all right?
Yeah, so somebody found like a bag of like, what they thought were organs.
Organs?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it turns out, I think it's like somebody had like a goat or a lamb or something and they got it and they dumped it.
Jeez. That's crazy. It's still weird though.
Yeah, weird shit going on.
Really weird. That's crazy.
You never know.
No, you don't.
Weird shit happens on stay lane, guys.
I know. We'll keep the doors locked for sure.
For sure.
The officers confirmed what they'd suspected. The bag contained animal remains in a forest where satanic rituals were rumored to happen regularly. The timeline was too precise to be a coincidence. The spirit box had said Brenda Johnson. They'd found a bag with that name. Inside were remains, and the authorities had been actively searching the area. To this day, no additional information has been released. No explanation for why the bag was there, who Brenda Johnson was, or what exactly happened in those woods in 2008. Jasko and Chris left with more questions than answers, and the Adirondack forest keeps its secrets buried, waiting for the next person curious enough to go looking. We begin with Grizzly Gaz, a camping YouTuber from the UK known for his solo expeditions into wild terrain, always with his French bulldog Fendi by his side. His channel is filled with rain-soaked trips, frozen nights, and quiet moments beside the fire. But in April 2023, during what seemed like just another outing, Gaz met something far stranger than any animal. That day looked like every other adventure he'd filmed. Gaz recorded himself setting up camp, pitching his tent, splitting logs, and boiling a pot for dinner. The forest was silent except for Fendi sniffing the ground and the steady rhythm of an axe. As the sun set, the light faded to amber, and smoke rose into the trees. What happened next was not caught on camera. Out of the darkness, a man in jeans and a coat appeared from behind the trees, asking Gaz if he had a light. To keep the moment calm, Gaz offered him a seat by the fire and shared his food and a drink.
Right, we've got steaks on go now. Bit of ribeye. Pot boiling for some mash. And I've got a visitor. Creeped up behind me asking me if I had a light. I shit me pants. This is Martin anyway. I don't know him, but he's stopping for a steak, so...
Just some random crate wandering about.
You went round here in a poncho a couple of months ago, were you?
I don't think I was.
His laugh is forced, his voice uneven. He introduces the stranger as Martin, though he'd never met him before. The man's clothes are wet, his hands mud-stained, and he sits down without waiting to be asked. For a while, they sit in the orange light. Martin talks about his life being homeless, how drugs had wrecked his past, how he'd been wandering the woods alone. His voice wanders too, slurring words as if he is not entirely there. Gaz listens quietly, feeding the fire. The night feels longer than it should. Later, Gaz turns away to cut more firewood. When he looks back, Martin is gone. No goodbye, no footsteps, not even the sound of leaves moving. Only the fire remains.
Turn round to cut some firewood up. So I cut a couple of logs up. And when I turned back round, he'd gone. So scanned about and he was just walking off into darkness. So I said, "See you later, pal." He went, yeah, see ya. And just left. I just found that really fucking strange.
Though the encounter ended without violence, the silence after was worse. Gaz packs slowly, unable to shake the feeling that Martin is still out there. He's alone in a forest filled with thousands of pounds of gear and a camera setup that makes him a target. Before leaving, he sets up a trail camera facing the camp just in case the stranger returns.
I'm on my way back to the camp to collect my trail camera and see if that random smackhead came back during the night.
He tries to sound amused, but his voice betrays how tired he is. Morning, the fire pit is cold. The camera is gone. Where it had been mounted, The tree bark is freshly torn, strap missing, no tracks in the mud, as if someone had stood close enough to touch it and left without a sound.
Our trail camera's gone. That's where it was, on this tree. So my gut instincts were right, weren't they, to leave.
Gaz thought the worst was over when Martin vanished into the dark, but the missing camera suggested otherwise. Something else had come back, and this time, it didn't want to be seen. Living on the road sounds like freedom. No mortgage, no neighbors. Just you, your van, an endless open highway. But there's a darker side to that independence that most van lifers don't talk about. The isolation, the vulnerability. The fact that when you park down some quiet road for the night, you're entirely alone. And if someone decides to approach your vehicle in the middle of the night, there's no one around to help. Bythercurb is a UK-based YouTuber who's been documenting his van life journey for years. 2 whole years living out of his vehicle, traveling the country, sleeping in lay-by after lay-by. In all that time, he'd never had a single scary encounter. He'd convinced himself it was something that happened to other people, not him. He was careful. He picked good spots. He kept a low profile. But on this particular night, parked on a quiet road somewhere in the British countryside, all of that changed. Because no matter how careful you are, you can't control who else is out there in the dark.
You're not working no one. I'm not the third door. I'm not the private rig. I'm not a first is the English footballer. I'm not a reef, I don't know what maintenance you do when you put on the dead people who you supposed to love. Construct, I've never heard this one. I've got a new modern technology. You've got full stuff like this on there. You're a cameraman, you're shutting out all that. You tell me. I can't see you on some through that and don't mind. I do not know who my father is. Now, as you walk
So I've got some nutter shouting outside then. Look at my shoes on.
I've been stabbing the back of the head, I want to take the legs drop, and then it's really feeling I can't get rid of this one. I've got some fucking steak. Some whiskey or something. You've got a high pitch when you're fucking going down to pick it up. You want to do?
It's still there, look. It's coming back. So I'm just hoping that it'll get fed up and bugger off.
Listen to his breathing. The panic was barely held in check. This isn't someone overreacting to a curious passerby or a drunk stumbling past. This is genuine fear. Someone is outside his van, pacing, shouting, refusing to leave. And the worst part? There's nothing between them but a thin metal door and a set of locks that suddenly feel far too flimsy. He grabs his shoes. Smart move. If this escalates, if the door gets forced open or a window gets smashed, he needs to be ready to run. But where do you run when you're parked on an isolated road in the middle of nowhere? No houses nearby. No witnesses. Just dark fields and empty pavement stretching in both directions. The stranger outside isn't making sense, is shouting incoherently, and is acting erratically. Completely unpredictable. And that's what makes this so terrifying. There's no reasoning with someone in that state. No way to de-escalate. All Bitherkerb can do is sit tight, stay quiet, and hope the person loses interest and moves on. And eventually, after what must have felt like an eternity, that's precisely what happens. The shouting fades. Footsteps retreat. Silence creeps back in. The stranger disappears into the night, leaving behind nothing but questions. What did he want? Was he mentally unwell? On drugs? Looking for a target? We'll never know. But here's what we do know. This is the reality of van life that doesn't make it into the highlight reels. The moments when that sense of freedom flips into vulnerability. When the same isolation that feels peaceful during the day becomes terrifying after dark. When you realize that living on the road means you're entirely on your own if something goes wrong. Bitherkerb walked away unharmed. The encounter ended without violence. But the psychological impact, that sense of safety he'd built up over 2 years, shattered in a single night, because now he knows it can happen. It did happen, and there's no guarantee it won't happen again. If you're living the van life or thinking about it, this is your reminder. Always have an exit plan. Always trust your gut. And never assume that because nothing bad has happened yet, it never will. -1 degrees Celsius. A car park in the dark, and the sound of people screaming 100 meters away. January 2021. YouTuber Will's whereabouts attempted his coldest stealth camping trip yet. Overnight in the Box Hill National Trust car park in Surrey, England. This was familiar ground. Will had lived in the area as a teenager, worked at a nearby restaurant, and knew these hills well. The plan was simple. Park his van at the viewpoint, stay warm with a sleeping bag and portable stove, and film the experience. But the night had other plans.
I now have a carbon monoxide alarm, believe it or not. Right here, in the corner. So now, from now on, I won't kill myself or poison myself. Christ almighty. So tonight's stealth camp is actually in a place which I'm very familiar with. I haven't actually... Tonight's stealth camp sounds like I'm at a bloody drag race. Anyway, as I was saying, I am in a very familiar place. I actually used to live in this area with my parents a good few years ago now, and I used to work at a restaurant just round the corner, which is where I had my first ever job when I was about, how old? 16, 17 years old. Nah, what's this plonker doing? I'm in the beautiful countryside of Box Hill, which is in the Surrey Hills in the south of the UK. Tonight I'm actually going to be sleeping in the National Trust car park, right at the top next to Box Hill Viewpoint. I would highly recommend this place, not only just to sleep in for the night, well, I haven't actually stayed here yet, so watch the rest of the video to see how I get on, but in terms of walking your dogs or just going for a walk and getting out into nature and the countryside, this is a great place to come.
Will settled in after sunset, temperatures already well below freezing. Box Hill empties at night. No dog walkers, no hikers, just silence. Or it should have been. Around 10 p.m. he started hearing it. Music blasting from somewhere in the woods. Not distant, not faint. Loud enough to rattle through the trees. And beneath it, screaming. Not playful, not laughter. Screaming.
I don't think I'm going to be getting much sleep tonight. There are people about 100 meters away, blazing music out. At least some good songs anyway. And some people screaming. Wish me luck, everybody.
Will estimated they were about 100 meters away, close enough to hear every sound, too far to see anything through the darkness. The music didn't stop. The screaming continued. He stayed in his van, door locked, trying to make sense of it. Was it a party? Some kind of ritual? The dense woodland gave no answers, only more questions. The noises persisted for hours. Will didn't sleep. As dawn broke, the music finally stopped. The screaming ended. Whoever had been out there vanished into the woods, without a trace. No reports surfaced afterward, no explanations. Just another freezing night at Box Hill that left one camper wondering what, or who, had been out there in the dark. When someone touches your tent in the middle of the night and doesn't answer when you call out, every instinct tells you one thing: run. January 2024. Sam, creator behind the YouTube channel The Northwest Wind, documents stealth camping across Ohio and the US. His videos usually showcase quiet nights in nature. But this night would be different. Something was waiting in the dark. It started as a warmer January evening. Sam set up camp behind a dog park. Quiet, isolated, safe. But from the moment he arrived, something felt wrong.
I don't know what it is here, but I keep feeling like somebody's watching me, and it's like very, very strong feeling, like hair on the back of my neck standing up. I don't know. I just keep feeling like I'm being watched or something, though. I don't know.
His gut screamed at him, hair standing up. The feeling of being observed. But he pushed it aside and kept filming. As darkness fell, someone walked by. Close enough that Sam barely saw them. They didn't notice him, or didn't acknowledge him.
It's getting dark. Gonna be fully dark here in about 10 minutes or so. Somebody just walked by. I don't know if they had a dog or not, but they definitely didn't see me, but I could barely see them. The tent does not sit high at all. I've been sitting on my belly case. This is while I was eating, just finishing up eating. I don't know why, I'm just spooked. I haven't been saying that, but I've been spooked since I got here. I keep feeling like somebody's watching me. And then seeing that person. I know it's a public park, but still.
Sam crawled into his tent, hoping rest would calm his nerves. It didn't. Within minutes, footsteps. Clear, deliberate, circling his tent.
There's somebody, hang on. I don't know if they could see it or not through the tent. I don't think so. I'm leaning right up against the light, but somebody's walking around out there very close to the tent. Somebody's out there. I don't know if they're coming this way or just walking around out there. I can't tell. Somebody's definitely walking around out there, though. Hang on. I don't want to leave the light on in case they could see in here. I think the fly is thick enough that they can't see the light, but still, I'm leaning right up against the lantern, so you can only just barely see my face.
He grabbed his camera, kept the light low, and filmed in silence. Hoping they'd leave. They didn't.
Hang on. I want you to be able to see as much as possible, but I'm not going to turn on the lantern again. I have my headlamp in my pocket, too.
The footsteps got closer, 10 feet away. He could hear whispering. 2 people, maybe more. He called out.
Hello? Like 10 feet away. I think there's 2 people, I can't tell. I can barely hear them talking, they're whispering. I think there's 2 people. Hello?
No response. Then they touched the tent, hands brushing the fabric, right beside him.
Hello? Alright, I don't like this. Hello? Hello? They're touching my tent. Stop.
Sam called out again. Still nothing. Time was running out.
Hello? Alright, I'm getting the f*** out of here. Hello? Hello? I don't know what the f*** this is, but we're getting out of here. Hang on. Hello? Okay, they're walking away now. What do you want? What do you want? I have a knife. Where's my knife?
The instant Sam grabbed his knife, they vanished. He rushed outside and started packing, but they were still there, standing in shadows, watching.
All right, I'm spooked. I don't like this. Get my headlamp on and we're getting out of here right now. They're just standing there. They're just standing there. What do you want? Leave me alone! They went over that way. I can't see them now. I know you're there. I see you.
Complete silence. But the feeling remained. Their intentions weren't good.
Knife. I smell your cigarette. All right, I'm officially like tweaking now. I'm like, all right, we're just gonna get out of here. We're just gonna get out of here. I'll come back for this crap later. Do I have my phone? I'm gonna call 911 if you come near me. Should I just call the police now or do I just go? I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I'm scared to go in any direction. I don't know where to go. I'm scared to go in any direction. I smell your cigarette. Is the camera on? The camera's on. I'm recording all of this. All right, they're moving again. I don't know. I'm getting out of here. We're going. I'll come back for this some other time. All right, let's get the hell out of here. I'm leaving. Don't follow me. I don't know where to go. I don't know which way to get out of here. I smell your cigarette. I can hear you. I hear you. All right, I don't know which way to go. How the hell do I get out of here? All right, sweet. I don't know how to get out of here. All right, this is how the
Too scared to finish packing, Sam abandoned his gear and ran, but they followed.
Stay away from me! They're coming behind me. I don't know what they're doing. They could just be around. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going. They're at my campsite. I see them. I see you reflecting off my tent. Leave my shit alone! All right, I'm getting out of here. You can have it.
Sam slipped, fell hard, and soaked himself. Pain shot through his body, but he kept moving.
I just ate. I'm soaked. I'm toast. Okay, oh, they're coming. Leave me alone!
Driven by pure adrenaline, he reached a clearing where he could see everything. For a moment, he thought he'd lost them.
I'm about 5 minutes from the car now, but I'm in the big clearing off the path. I have the high ground, so to speak. I can see everything from behind me. I don't see anybody anymore. Can't hear anybody. If they were coming, I could see them.
Then something appeared in the distance, getting bigger, moving toward him.
Oh, it's getting bigger. It's getting bigger. All right, let's get the out of here. I don't know if they're like after me or something, or what the happening. We're getting the here. It's getting bigger. They're coming this way. Holy I don't like this. I'm calling the police. Okay.
Sam sprinted to his car and escaped. The next day, he returned. His tent had been destroyed, stakes pulled out, fabric torn.
Oh man, everything is absolutely sopped. Damn. Can't actually tell if they must have, because see, exactly like I was saying, they pulled the tent from the top while I was in there and pulled the stakes out of the ground. I did not do that, nor did I leave it like that. So somebody was definitely messing with my stuff.
Sam made it out alive, but the questions remain. Who were they, and why did they follow him until he had no choice but to run? A tent abandoned for 15 years. A body was found in 2009, and a sound in the forest that makes you realize you're standing exactly where someone died. June 15th, 2025. YouTuber Harbor Explorer and his friend Shiro were exploring Bindari National Park, expecting nothing more than another peaceful hike through beautiful wilderness. Harbor Explorer's channel isn't about creepy content, it's the opposite. His videos showcase calming adventures, serene landscapes, and moments of quiet in nature. This trip was supposed to be no different, They started their walk, noticing large animal footprints along the trail. Nothing alarming, just signs of wildlife passing through. But as they ventured deeper into the forest, they stumbled onto something that shifted the entire tone of the day.
Did you bring a knife? There's a few fairly decent sized bloody dog prints there. Decent sized animal. Not too concerned about it, but that's why I always carry a knife anyway. Just in case.
Oh, cut.
Yeah, someone comes here, eh? Like, why would you cut those?
They've used them to make something.
The footprints were just the beginning. What came next was far more disturbing. Hidden among the trees, they found remnants of an old campsite, a kid's hiking bag, part of a broken chair, and then a tent, still standing after all these years, weathered but intact. The discovery hit differently when they realized what this place represented.
Alright, here we are. It's a bit weird, eh? It's like a kid's bag there. It's a hiking pack. Part of a chair. I can't believe it's still standing. Yeah, so who knows how long this thing's been here. I mean, the body of the fella was found, I think, 2009. So if it is his, I'm not good at maths, what's that, 15 years or so ago? Surely it can't still be standing. We're gonna have a look around and see what we can find. What is it?
Date of manufacture is 2000, 28th of the 3rd, 2007.
Yeah, right. Bloody hell. So it could be that old, eh? Oh, that's a pair of track pants.
What size are they?
I can't see. Lift the bag up, wouldn't surprise me if there's a bloody small line underneath.
It's all orange paint inside it. Bright orange paint. Travel tag. Yeah, name on it. Oh, it's a tape wrapper.
Dunno. Yeah,
What brand are they?
nothing in it, eh?
Check that brand and then see the photo. So check the photo. When they were made. That's written on something.
Samoa 85 litre. Let's just pat it all away. got a hole. Great stuff. Good morning for yeah, it's creepy in here, eh? I don't know, it's just got a weird feeling. I don't know, you probably would have heard on the video just saying there was like a horn noise. It was only sounded man-made and it was only 100 metres or so away, so that's pretty much the way we're heading down this waterfall. Yeah, it's pretty bloody eerie if this was the actual tenet of the torso that was found.
In 2009, a body had been found in this area. Just a torso. No identification, no clear cause. The case went cold. And now, 15 years later, Harbour and Shiro were standing at what appeared to be the victim's campsite. The tent matched the timeline, manufactured in 2007. Track pants lay nearby, a coat buckle. Personal items slowly decompose into the forest floor. Everything about the scene suggested this was where it happened. Then they heard it. A sound, man-made, mechanical, coming from about 100 meters away, down toward the waterfall. It didn't belong, not out here, not in a place this isolated. The realization hit them both at once. They were standing at the site of an unsolved death. Gun shells were scattered across the trail, an abandoned canoe next to a stagnant pond. And when the property owners finally found you, they didn't ask you to leave. They told you to get in the truck. October 4th, 2015. YouTuber Guns in It Stuff ventured deep into the remote wilderness to spend 24 hours surviving in the elements. He'd chosen what appeared to be isolated territory, far from civilization. But as he made his way down the train tracks toward his planned campsite, signs began appearing that he wasn't the first person to visit this area. And he definitely wasn't alone. Shotgun shells. Dozens of them, scattered along the path like breadcrumbs leading deeper into the woods. Then, an old fire pit. An abandoned canoe sits beside a murky, stagnant pond. And finally, a car, rusted and half buried in the undergrowth, like it had been there for years. None of it felt right. But he'd come this far, so he kept going.
So I'm coming down the train tracks on the way to my campsite. What do I happen to see? I'm not the only one who's been here. Looks like I won't be quite as isolated as I'd planned on. I just hope it's not any rapist hillbillies out here. I'm on the final leg of my trek to the campsite. And what do I see when I get down here? Look at all those shells. Nothing hostile and uninviting about that at all. We'll just put that out of our minds for now. Out there, another 1,000 yards or so is home. Wish me luck. Here we are. This is home. It's a fire pit from camp long ago. This is my neighborhood for the next 24 hours. Got a nice stagnant pond over there and a canoe. Nothing weird about that at all. Definitely doesn't belong to rapist hillbillies. Probably those.
He tried to brush it off, told himself it was nothing. Maybe old hunting grounds. Maybe kids hanging out years ago. But the shotgun shells were a clear message. Someone had been using this area, and they didn't want visitors. Still, he set up camp near the old fire pit, started building a fire, and tried to settle in for the night. Then people appeared. 3 of them are walking dogs through the woods. They saw him, called their dogs back immediately, and made a hasty retreat. That's when he realized he was trespassing, and whoever owned this land knew he was there.
There's water and beer, right? I'll be okay. This is a canoe. So the rapist hillbillies must have left this out here. Fucking odd is that, really? What's somebody doing? Going out in the middle of a stagnant fucking pond in this canoe? I don't know. Apparently I'm not the only crazy person around here. Back yonder is where I came from. Look at that. Look at all that wood. It's too far for me to drag. Forget. This is it. This is home. There's a fridge. Why is there a fridge? I swear to God it's a fridge. We're not going all the way over there, but I've seen it before. It is. A tire. More wood, my God. Set this whole place on fire. Alright, we're heading back. The wind's probably fucking with my microphone right now. Mother Nature's kind of a bitch. Last I checked, the forecast called for rain. I'm really hoping there's no rain. This is gonna suck enough as it is. Going back to camp. This is our old fire pit from many moons ago. I was a bit more of an amateur at this stuff. This is my supplies. My libations for this evening. I've only got 3 left, God help me. Got a decent pile of firewood. I need to do at least double this to make it through the night. This bastard is what's going to keep me warm. Look at that. We'll be lighting that up in a few hours. And we're not doing too bad here either. I'd like to see some of those gaps filled in, but hardly matters. I'm going to cover that all with a space blanket. That's where we're at for now. We'll check back again later. I went on a walk looking for a fallen birch tree. For those of you who might not know, birch bark is one of the best fire starting materials around. It's also illegal to strip the birch from a live tree. So if I happen to come across any birch out here, everyone just say that it was dead when I found it, okay? I'm not admitting to any criminal behavior out here. We're on our way back to camp. The structure of my shelter is pretty much done. What the f*** is that? What is that? Someone's been building a goddamn shrine to the Blair Witch out here. Oh, no, that's just my cooking fire. The plan is start this fire up to cook my dinner, because that one's going to be way too hot to get close enough for cooking purposes. We're doing alright out here so far. Firewood. Lots and lots of firewood. No progress on this since the last update. But we do have even more firewood. In realization of the fact that I probably won't sleep at all tonight, I've forgone my plans to make a bed, and I'm constructing a chair. Cutting the final seat pieces here now. With this little beauty, I love this thing. It's a great little folding saw. But a lot of work you see in here was done simply by smashing. Never use a tool for what you can accomplish with simple brute force. My buddy Alex Lamana taught me that. Well, he didn't necessarily teach me it so much as rip down a tree that I was trying to chop down with less effort than I was using. So I learned from that, buddy. This is partly thanks to you. Updates later. Let's go for a walk. I'm feeling pretty good about things at camp. There's still some work to be done, but it's looking good so far. We're just gonna go on another rapist hillbilly patrol. I swear to God, if I hear someone say you got a pretty mouth, I'm gonna shit my pants. Fuck it. Let's go over it rather than around. Gonna give you a a bird's eye view of what I'm sadly calling home. Bear with me here, it's goddamn treacherous. This is it. This is my campsite. It's a goddamn car in there. Honest to God car. Well, here I am. I finally made it. King of this bullshit little stagnant pond. Lord and master of all I survey. This really wasn't worth taking me up here for. We'll go back. Going back. Not much wildlife here. I'm glad I got food because hunting would have been a disaster. I heard a squirrel a while back. Didn't see him. Nothing here worth killing. I'm pretty close to done with my shelter. Doesn't look like much, but I expect it ought to keep me warm. It's 2:15 right now. I got a lot of time to kill and not a whole lot more work to do. Gather some more firewood. I need to prep this to get started. And there's my little lounge for the evening. This is really gonna suck. Be back later. So I just got spotted. There's 3 people out here walking their dogs. They saw me, called their dogs back, and made a hasty retreat. It's probably not good considering I'm trespassing. But it is what it is. On another note, I may have gotten a little bit ahead of myself. I forgot to film starting this fire. I will film the starting the cooking fire.
The video cut abruptly. When it resumed minutes later, everything had changed. The property owners had found him. They weren't friendly. They didn't ask him to leave politely. They demanded it. And when he offered to hike out on his own, they refused. "Get in the truck," they said. "This is private property. If you get hurt out here, we're liable." He tried again to explain that he could walk out. They didn't care. Then came the final demand. "Take off that belt with your knives on it." At that point, he had no choice. He complied, got in the truck, and they drove him out, dumping him on the side of a road twice as far from his car as where he'd started.
So as it turns out, the hillbillies found me. Like I said, I was trespassing. They grilled me on what I was doing. Told me to leave. I said, sure, I'll just hike it out of here. They said, no, I'll get in the truck. I said, I'm totally gonna get ass raped by hillbillies right now. So I tried again. I said, you know what, it was an easy trip in here. I'll try to get out on my own. They says, no, it's private property. If you get hurt out there, we can be held accountable. Get in the truck. And I said, well, shit, at least I got my knives. And he says, by the way, take off that belt with your knives on it. So now I'm sure I'm gonna die. So they dumped me on the side of the road, about twice the distance that I humped it in there to get to the campsite. Got back to my cottage, I'm trekking out again. I don't have time to make a shelter, but I will build the fire and try that freeze-dried survival food. We'll see how that goes. I'll keep you updated later. Coming up on campsite 2.0. Some of the people watching this video might find this familiar. Maybe not. But I figured since it worked the first time, this is where I'm gonna do it again. Oh shit. This was the location of our fire. And we built the fire pit with a rock. Which someone...
Shaken but determined to salvage the trip, he hiked back out to a different location. One he'd used successfully before. But even there, something felt off. The fire pit he'd built on a previous trip had been disturbed. The rocks moved. Someone had been there since his last visit. Whether it was a coincidence or something more deliberate, he never found out. But the message was clear. Some parts of the wilderness aren't as empty as they seem, and some people don't want you there, no matter how far you think you've wandered from civilization. A barefoot stranger in the middle of nowhere, a truck abandoned for years, and footage that left more questions than answers. July 3rd, 2025. Michigan Rips, a dirt bike YouTuber filming rides across northern forests, was out on what should have been a routine trip. Instead, his audience got something far more unsettling. He was riding through dense forest near Ryerson Road, deep in Michigan's far north, where the nearest town sits miles away. Then someone stepped onto the trail. A man, barefoot, disoriented, asking for help.
Ran into a truck at all?
Nope.
Explorer?
Nope.
If you do, can you, like, I don't know, possibly turn around and try to find me? I'm going to be taking this trip.
Okay.
I appreciate it. I really do. Like, I've been looking for 2 days.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're almost out to the road if you follow this trail.
Really?
Yep.
The stranger's words came in broken fragments. He'd been out there for 2 days, searching for his truck. Michigan pointed him toward the road and kept riding. But something didn't add up. They were barely half a mile from Ryerson Road. How does someone stay lost that close for 48 hours? Deeper into the forest, Michigan found it. An old Chevy pickup, half buried in brush and rust. The paint faded, metal corroded. It looked abandoned for years, not days. When he checked the registration sticker, the timeline collapsed. 2019. This truck had been sitting there for 6 years. If this was the man's truck, nothing made sense. Why barefoot? Why claim 2 days when the vehicle had been there for years? The comments are filled with theories. Some said call the authorities. Others warned that stopping for strangers in isolated areas is dangerous. But the most unsettling part? Michigan Rips never posted again after July 3rd. No follow-up, no explanation. His channel went silent. The footage remains online. The mystery remains unsolved. And somewhere in those woods, that truck is still waiting. On October 30th, 2020, YouTuber No Egg Craig uploaded a video titled, "Don't Go Camping Alone." Craig is known chiefly for cooking content, but this time, he tried something different, a solo camping trip near Spruce Pond. It was meant to be quiet, uneventful, just a night away from routine. But that's not how the night would end. He sets up camp near the tree line and begins preparing dinner as the forest grows darker. The footage captures a calm scene, a camp stove, the crackle of fire, the rhythm of insects. Everything feels normal, until something breaks the stillness.
Hello? Anyone there?
He turns toward the sound, expecting maybe a hiker or just the wind, but the woods stay silent. The camera captures only his breathing, steady, cautious. It could have been forest noise, small animals, shifting branches. Still, the tension is there, buried beneath the quiet. As he settles in for the night, the forest feels heavier, the kind of silence that listens back.
Who's there? Hello? Someone there?
Okay. That's not...
What? What's this? What the?
He doesn't wait to see what it is. The footage shakes as he grabs the camera and runs toward the trail. The last frame shows his campfire flickering alone in the dark. He reaches his car and waits until sunrise. The masked figure was never identified, and no reports were filed from the area that night. Since then, Craig hasn't gone camping alone again. What began as a simple outdoor vlog ended in silence, a reminder that the calmest places can change without warning. Some still debate what he saw that night. What do you think? The scariest part of wild camping isn't what you can see, it's what you can't. The rustling you can't identify. The light in the distance suddenly goes dark. The presence you know is there, but you can't locate it. That's when your imagination becomes your worst enemy. On March 20th, 2025, camping YouTuber, sort of interesting, uploaded footage that perfectly captures that primal fear. Dan, the channel's creator, is about as genuine as they come in the outdoor community. He doesn't manufacture drama. He doesn't stage encounters for clicks. He just camps in quiet spots, enjoys nature, and documents the experience. His videos are typically peaceful, almost meditative. But this particular night in the woods, this was different. And you can hear it in his voice. The shift from calm appreciation of nature to genuine unease as the situation spirals into something he can't control or explain. What started as a peaceful bivvy camp turned into hours of paranoia, confusion, and the unsettling realization that someone, or something, was watching him in the dark.
Well hidden and camouflaged when you come down to waist height and below. Got a lot of good trees growing and a lot of downed wood. I'm going to leave a few items here from my bag just to lower the weight on my back, because even though I anticipate it going extremely chilly tonight, which is why I've currently got an extra layer for bedtime on, although I am going to wear all of this straight through till the morning, it's been a beautiful day and it's still really warm in the evening here. So carrying all that kit and wearing extra layers is definitely sweating a little bit more than I wanted to on the way down here. Anyway, I'm going to go and find somewhere beautiful on the riverside to have something to eat, and we'll come back and pitch the bivvy. I swear 2 people have already been within very close proximity. I don't think they've seen me, because why would they? Who would even look in here for someone? But I'm being very, very cautious.
Dan found what seemed like the perfect stealth camping spot, sheltered, hidden, with plenty of flat ground. The kind of place where you can disappear below waist height and blend into the landscape. But even as he's setting up, you can hear the caution in his voice. People walking nearby. Footsteps every few minutes. He's hyper-aware that this isn't true wilderness. It's a popular area, and staying undetected requires constant vigilance. Still, the spot works. He heads down to the riverside for dinner, enjoys the sunset, and returns as darkness falls to set up his bivvy for the night. No tent, just a sleeping bag, an air mattress, and the open sky above him. Exposed, but free.
To sleep is the absolute epitome and perfect illustration of everything I love about wild camping and just being outdoors in general. So this is my bivvy setup. Because I can't afford a proper sleeping bag, I've found a really old cheap envelope bag to go over my really cheap old mummy bag. I've got my inflatable pillow and we've got an inflatable mat beneath us. I'm hoping the ground isn't going to be too hard and there's going to be nothing particularly sharp beneath all that. I can't believe how still the air is around here. I know we've got a bit of the road noise in the background, but that won't last forever, and it's actually a really nice spot, to be honest. Now that I can't hear footsteps every 2 seconds, it's wonderful.
Everything feels right. The road noise fades, the footsteps stop. Dan settles into his makeshift bed, finally able to relax. This is what wild camping is supposed to feel like, just you, the stars, and complete stillness. He closes his eyes, exhaustion taking over, but sleep doesn't last long. Because in the darkness, something changes. Torches appear in the distance, movement across the field, and suddenly, Dan isn't alone anymore.
So you might be able to see there is somebody walking towards us. Okay, things have gone a little bit wrong at the moment, but I'm still quite upbeat about the situation. Nothing serious, but quite comical. So I thought I'd go out and have a look what was going on around in the main walk-in area, because there were a few torches going by and there'd been some noises and rustling in the woodland that I didn't think anybody would be in. So I thought I'll go out and just have a nose around. So you might have seen that little glimpse of lights that were heading towards me. As I was focused on them way across a field or two, I almost jumped out of my skin because a dog walker came down behind me. So in a bit of a panic to make sure they didn't think that I was milling around in that particular area, I had to immediately start walking in the exact opposite way of the bivvy. So what I don't like about this situation is I've got my electronics and my cooking stuff with me, but all of the sleeping bags, the bivvy, the air mattress is all out there on its own, which I don't think it's in any danger, but I would rather be with it than separated with people out and about in the area.
This is where the night starts unraveling. Dan spots torches moving near his camp, so he slips out of his bivvy to investigate, trying to figure out if it's just late-night dog walkers or something more concerning. But as he's focused on the distant lights, a dog walker suddenly appears behind him in the dark, nearly giving him a heart attack. Panicked and not wanting to look suspicious, Dan immediately starts walking in the opposite direction from his camp, away from all his gear, away from his sleeping bags and electronics. Now he's separated from everything he needs, wandering the trails in the dark while strangers move through the area, and his entire setup sits unattended in the woods. It's a helpless feeling. He can't go back yet, not with people still around. But every minute he's gone, his anxiety builds. What if someone stumbles across his bivvy? What if his gear gets stolen? What if whoever's out there isn't just a random dog walker? Eventually, the lights fade. The area goes quiet. Dan cautiously makes his way back to his bivvy, hoping the worst is over. But it's not. Not even close.
I was half asleep when, with no prior torchlight, a lot of animal-like rustling broke out. Then suddenly, in the darkness, a loud crack sound really woke me with a start. They're looking straight at me. I am trying not to panic. Hello? Right, I'm just going to use the phone light now, and I'm just going. They haven't been about, I haven't seen a single light now for maybe 5-10 minutes. I don't even know. I've been just trying to keep as calm as possible, but when they walked off and the light went out, I don't even know which direction they were, but somewhere in that direction. I'll forget it, let's just go. Right, I'll use the phone now. I'll keep the phone recording just in case anything else happens, and I'll use it as my only light. Right. I need some glasses. Oh, there they are, flipping heck. Nearly got crushed. If this was somebody who was just trying to scare me and just mess with me a little bit, then it was a stroke of absolute genius to not respond to my hello and simply turn their light out, because that set my mind racing into every possibility of where they might be. The only thing I knew for certain was that they hadn't entered the woodland, because there were so many dried leaves and sticks it would be impossible for them to move silently around me. However, not knowing where they were or where they'd gone, I thought the only sensible choice is to clear off. In hindsight, the fact that I didn't hear any voices before or after suggests it was definitely only one person out there. However, at the time, my main concern wasn't so much that they were out there waiting to get me now, but that they may return in the small hours, and there may be more of them coming to see if I've got anything worth stealing. which, to be fair, I haven't. You can see I had to put my head torch on as well in the end, because although the footage makes it look really bright with just the phone light, it was actually unbelievably dark, and that's one of the things that makes these moments all the more terrifying when you're out there experiencing them in real time.
Animal-like rustling. No warning, no torchlight. Just a sudden movement in the darkness, close enough to wake him. Then, a loud crack, right near his bivvy. Dan jolts awake, adrenaline spiking, and that's when he sees it. A torch beam pointed directly at him. Someone standing there in the dark, watching. He calls out, "Hello?" Silence. No response. And then, the light goes out. Whoever it is just turns off their torch and disappears into the darkness without a word. Think about how terrifying that is. Not knowing whether they've left or are still standing there, watching from the shadows, and not knowing whether it's one person or several, not knowing their intentions. Dan's mind races through every possibility. Are they messing with him? Are they casing his gear? Are more people coming? The only certainty is the sound of dried leaves and sticks covering the forest floor. If someone tried to approach silently, he'd hear them, but that also means they could be standing just outside the tree line, waiting, watching, and he'd never know until they moved. Dan makes the call any rational person would. Pack up and get out. Right now. No hesitation. He fumbles for his glasses, grabs his phone for light, and starts breaking down his bivvy as quickly and quietly as possible. The darkness is overwhelming. Even with his head torch and phone light, he can barely see. And somewhere out there, someone is still unaccounted for. In hindsight, Dan reflects that it was probably just one person trying to scare him. And, honestly, they succeeded brilliantly. The silent treatment after his hello was psychological warfare. Turning the light off and vanishing? Pure genius if your goal is to terrify a solo camper. But in the moment, none of that mattered. All that mattered was the possibility that they might come back. That more people might show up, indicating this was more than just a prank. Dan abandoned the camp, left the area entirely. And honestly, smart move. Because when you're alone in the dark, and someone deliberately tries to unsettle you, the only winning move is to leave before the situation escalates into something worse. This is the dark side of wild camping, the human element. The unpredictable encounters that turn a peaceful night into a scramble for safety. Dan walked away unharmed, but the psychological weight of that encounter, the hours of paranoia, the violated sense of security that lingers long after the torture. Sometimes you return to the same mistake twice, and the second time, the universe makes sure you remember why it was a mistake in the first place. On September 3rd, 2025, YouTuber Sort of Interesting decided to try stealth camping again. Same general area, same style of setup, same goal of staying undetected in a small clearing near a UK riverside. You'd think after his last encounter, the one with the mysterious torchlight and the silent watcher, he might have chosen a different spot. But Dan's drawn to these challenging locations. The thrill of staying hidden. The simplicity of a minimalist bivvy camp. This time, though, he'd stripped his setup down even further. No tent, barely any gear, just a poncho tarp, a sleeping bag, and the hope that he could disappear into the ferns and go unnoticed for one peaceful night. At first, everything seemed manageable. The spot had decent cover if you stayed low enough. The weather was cooperating. All he had to do was wait for darkness, slip into his bivvy, and enjoy the stillness. But as the sun went down and the woods grew quiet, Dan would learn that some places just don't want you there. And this time, whatever was watching him in the dark didn't stay at a distance.
Okay, so I am definitely concealed, although that might only count if I'm about 2 feet from the ground at most. So I'm just going to have a quick scout around this area for somewhere that's a little clearer to put maybe my basic ground sheet poncho down. But this is already quite amusing and humorous an activity to try and do. Wish me luck. Okay, so with the sound of crows in the background and endless chainsawing across the valley, I'll just show you what I've got. So, this is slightly haunting already. So, because I've travelled so lightly and simply, I've been able to fetch my very small camping stool. But ironically, I've got such poor cover from the wider world here that even this tiny little stool might actually be too high for me to sit on. Obviously water, oh yeah, we've got toiletries, odds and ends and snacks in the top of my bag. Elk Kit Elan bivvy bag. Simple basic sleeping bag. And what I was hoping to do was to use my pegs to peg down my poncho tarp as a ground sheet. But as you can see right now, I think I might just have to fold this over and use it as a little bit of a footprint to put my bivvy bag on amongst the ferns here if I'm going to have any sort of cover at all. Pillow is my Ecotech Hibernate inflatable mat. I've got my basic selfie stick tripod hybrid. I haven't got my fancy microphone for recording or anything, which is typical because we've got so much noise around us. And I need to be really quiet, so I can't do my shouting to a distant camera angle.
From the start, the location had issues. Dan was concealed, barely, but only if he stayed crouched or lying down. Even his tiny camping stool was too high to sit on without being visible. The area was noisier than expected. Chainsaws echoing across the valley, crows cawing overhead, the constant hum of activity that suggested people were nearby. Not ideal for stealth camping, but workable if he kept his head down. He laid out his minimal gear, a poncho, a tarp as a ground sheet, a basic sleeping bag, an inflatable mat, and a bivvy bag. No fancy equipment. No microphone. Just the essentials. The plan was simple. Set everything up, leave the area for a few hours while foot traffic died down, then return after dark and slip into his bivvy unnoticed. But as he unpacked, the unease grew. Too many people wandering through. Too much noise. The kind of signs that tell you, maybe this isn't the right spot. Still, he committed to the plan. He left his sleeping bag hidden in the ferns and walked away, hoping that by the time he returned, the woods would be empty.
It seems that there are a lot of people around compared to what I was hoping for. So I'm going to really keep a low profile for a few minutes, and I'm going to get out of here and set my stuff up after a little while. What am I doing right now? What am I actually doing and planning? This is a comfortable night's sleep, apparently. So here's the plan. I'm going to leave my sleeping bag here, just so there's more space and less weight in my backpack as I walk around. I'm going to lay this out, but as a really thin rectangle, as a base for my bivvy to go on, and then I'm going to clear off and come back just as it starts to get a little bit darker.
Darkness fell. Dan returned to his camp, climbed into his bivvy, and settled in. The foot traffic had stopped. The woods had gone quiet. For a moment, it felt like the gamble had paid off. He even started talking to the camera about how much he loved the simplicity of his setup. Minimal gear, maximum connection with nature. This was what wild camping was supposed to feel like. Then reality shattered that illusion. Fast.
Might be going absolutely mad here. I swear there's been like a firefly. I'm gonna shut up. I can hear... I think I can hear footsteps. I can't... I am keeping an extreme low profile right now. I think that the laser was coming from the far side of the trees, but I'm not 100%. I don't think it was actually aimed at me. I think it was just shining a laser for the sake of it. But it's certainly woken me up a little bit. But to be honest, it's been quiet for about 10 minutes now, so I'm not too worried.
There's a dog in here!
Footsteps. Close. Too close. Dan freezes, trying to stay as low profile as possible, hoping whoever it is will pass by without noticing him. Then, a laser light, cutting through the darkness, shining directly toward his bivvy. Not a flashlight, not a head torch. A laser. The kind that has no innocent explanation when it's being aimed into the woods at night. Dan's heart rate spikes. Who the hell is out there? What are they doing? Is the laser aimed at him specifically, or are they just sweeping the area? He can't tell. All he knows is that someone is out there in the dark, and they're using equipment that feels deliberate. Surveillance-like. Targeted. The footsteps get closer. The laser keeps moving. And then, movement. Fast movement. Someone or something was crashing through the underbrush, heading straight for his bivvy. Dan's brain barely has time to process what's happening before instinct kicks in. He shouts the first thing that comes to mind. "There's a dog in here!" Not a threat, not a demand to back off. Just pure panic producing the most random sentence possible. But it works. Whoever was approaching lets out a startled exclamation, a grunt, a gasp, something, and immediately turns and runs. Footsteps pounding away through the trees, phone light bobbing as they flee. Gone.
Here's that footage slowed down because I got such a poor quality view of the situation as I basically went from asleep to the most awake I've ever been in my life in the space of 1 second. When they were running away, I think it was a phone light rather than a proper flashlight of any kind. And I don't know if those lasers are one single tool or some sort of surveillance kit or something, I don't know. But I'm sure after I shouted, "There's a dog in here," which was the only thing I could think of in the heat of the moment, I'm sure you can hear a little exclamation from them, just a little "Ruh!" as they were legging it. I'm going to play the audio from the immediate aftermath now. A couple of things to note: that there may be some muted moments because I never ever swear in videos, and that was a moment that really pushed me to the edge. And also, I thought it was amusing to note, for me at least, that whereas when I've seen torches in the distance and felt safer, I've been able to do recording and do a bit more talking to make it more dramatic for YouTube, whereas in this case, because I felt that it was immediate danger, I've practically entirely stopped breathing at moments, never mind talking away to the camera. Once I'd found my boots, I felt a little safer, but I immediately started to break down the campsite. One of the benefits of such a simple setup is that it took me literally less than 2 minutes to have everything shoved in my backpack and for me to be getting out of there.
Dan goes from dead asleep to the most awake he's ever been in 1 second flat. The footage is chaotic, too dark, too fast, impossible to make out details. But the audio tells the story. You can hear the panic in his breathing, the barely contained swearing he has to mute out later, the scramble to find his boots. Because if this escalates, if whoever that was comes back, he needs to be able to run. In the slowed down replay, you can just barely make out what happened. The laser, maybe surveillance equipment, perhaps something else entirely, sweeping the area. A phone light, not a proper flashlight, is bouncing erratically as someone runs away after Dan's shout. And that slight, startled exclamation from whoever it was, proof that they weren't expecting him to yell, weren't expecting resistance, and bolted the moment they realized they'd been caught. But here's the thing that Dan realizes as his adrenaline starts to fade. This was immediate danger. Not distant torches he could observe from afar. Not ambiguous sounds he could rationalize. This was someone actively approaching his bivvy in the middle of the night with a laser, for reasons he still can't explain. So he does the only smart thing, breaks down camp. Fast. Less than 2 minutes to stuff everything into his backpack and get out of there. No second guessing. No waiting to see if they come back. Just pure survival instinct telling him that staying another minute in that clearing is a bad idea. Dan walked away unharmed. Again. But twice now he's had encounters in these woods that defy easy explanation. Torches, lasers, silent watchers, people running through the darkness with equipment that suggests intent beyond casual hiking. Who's out there? What are they looking for? Why do they keep targeting solo campers in this area? We still don't have answers. And honestly, that's what makes it so unsettling. Not the confrontation itself, but the pattern, the repetition. The sense that Dan keeps stumbling into something bigger than just random encounters. This remains one of the strangest and most disturbing camping experiences I've ever seen documented. Because it's not just one weird night, it's two. And that raises a chilling question. What happens on night 3? Some of the most terrifying footage doesn't come with explanations. No backstory, no names, no location. Just raw fear captured in the moment, uploaded to the internet, and left for the rest of us to piece together. This is one of those clips. A man camping alone in the woods somewhere, anywhere, when nature reminds him just how thin the line between safety and danger really is. And that line, in this case, it's nothing more than a sheet of nylon fabric. The video starts mid-crisis. No build-up, no warning, just a grizzly bear standing directly in front of his tent. Massive. Close enough to touch. The kind of encounter that turns your blood to ice before your brain even has time to process what's happening. The man's reaction is pure instinct. Zip the tent shut. Fast. As if that thin barrier could somehow protect him from 400 pounds of wild animal. But here's the thing about grizzlies. They're curious. And when they're curious, they investigate. The bear starts pawing at the fabric, pressing its weight against the tent wall, testing it. Every touch feels like it could be the one that tears through. So the camper does the only thing left to do, he screams. Loud, desperate, hoping his voice carries enough threat to convince this apex predator that he's not worth the trouble. And somehow, against all odds, it works. The bear pauses, pulls back. The sounds stop. Silence floods back into the forest. But silence in a moment like that isn't relief, it's terrifying uncertainty. Is the bear gone? Or is it circling? Waiting? The man stays frozen, listening for any sign of movement. Eventually, he builds up enough courage to unzip the tent just enough to peek outside. Empty. The grizzly has vanished back into the trees as suddenly as it appeared. What was it looking for? Food left. Out? The scent of something in his pack? Or was it just passing through and got curious about the strange structure in its territory? We'll never know. No context was given. No follow-up posted. Just this one clip, a snapshot of a moment when everything could have gone catastrophically wrong, but somehow didn't. This is the reality of camping in bear country. Your tent isn't a fortress. It's barely a suggestion. And when a grizzly decides to investigate, all you have is noise, luck, and the hope that it loses interest before testing just how fragile that nylon really is. Meet Camper Vibe, a travel channel run by Emily and Louise, two friends known for peaceful road trips and the renovation of a 200-year-old stone cottage. Their uploads are usually quiet and simple: a van, a fire, a calm voice. But in early 2023, Louise decided to take a solo break from the renovation, heading into daring woods on the edge of Pluckley, a place often called the most haunted village in the UK. She wasn't chasing ghosts, she just wanted a night of stillness beneath the trees. The forest had other plans.
I didn't want to turn the light on earlier because I swear to God that was footsteps.
Louise sets up her hammock, lights a small fire, and cooks a simple meal as dusk presses in. At first, it feels ordinary: the crackle of wood, the hum of insects, the steady wind through the canopy. Then, almost unnoticed, the sounds begin to change. The owls fade, replaced by something sharper, high-pitched cries, scattered like voices echoing from far between the trees. Somewhere in the distance, it starts to sound like children screaming.
This is definitely odd. I've got no idea if you guys heard that or not, but honestly, I don't like it. I'm going to be honest. It's not deer. Like, I know what deer sound like.
She tries to rationalize it. Trains, birds, anything that fits the night. But the calls keep returning, tangled with echoes that shouldn't exist this far from any village. She sits beside the fire, listening, her shoulders stiffen each time the cries rise again. What started as curiosity has turned into unease. The camera picks up the low hiss of the fire and her quiet breathing between the noises. By now, Louise knows this isn't normal woodland sound.
Sounds like kids screaming. That's just a train. Is it a bird or is it kids screaming? That's a bird. That's a gunshot. I don't know if you'll be able to hear a lot of this, it's pretty distant, but it sounds like kids screaming.
Her tone sounds calm, but the tremor in her words says otherwise. Before lying down, she looks once more into the darkness. It stares back in perfect silence. At around 2 a.m., between the calls of owls, the patter of rain, passing planes, and the distant hum of trains, the microphone catches a new rhythm. Heavy, slow, human. Footsteps pressing into wet soil, stopping just outside the hammock.
I've never wanted the morning to come as much as I do right now.
She freezes, unwilling to move, unwilling to light her torch. Each time the steps fade, she dares to breathe. Each time they return, she holds her breath again. For hours, the sound circles approaching, fading, and returning from a different angle. Between each silence, raindrops tap against the tarp, marking time. By the 4th hour, the fear stops feeling like panic, it becomes routine. As dawn seeps through the canopy, crows erupt into flight, startled by something unseen. Louise finally sits up, trembling, whispering into the camera that it was the scariest night she's ever spent in the woods.
This is definitely the scariest night I've ever had in a tent.
Even in daylight, she admits she can still hear footsteps faint, pacing beyond the van. Then she notices something that chills her further. She had left her axe outside, exposed the entire night.
Pull up the water, but I've just realised I left my axe out. Now, if there had been an axe murderer wandering around, I've literally handed him his weapon of choice. Idiot Louise.
Her laugh is shaky, more reflex than humor. She looks into the trees one last time. If someone was there, they never needed her axe to scare her. Louise returned home safely, her footage untouched. To this day, no one has explained the noises or the footsteps that circled her camp until morning. She insists she doesn't believe in ghosts, but belief doesn't stop footsteps. And the daring woods never promised silence.
I didn't want to turn the light on earlier because I swear to God that was footsteps.
When something hits the side of your tent in the middle of the night and you're miles from anyone, the only question left is, do you stay or do you run? October 2023. William, the creator behind Truesdale TV, is a stealth and wild camping expert who shares peaceful camping spots and survival tips on his small YouTube channel. His videos usually showcase the enjoyable, serene side of camping in remote areas. But this particular night in the Irish wilderness would be anything but peaceful. William had found what seemed like the perfect spot. He set up his tent, poured himself a shot of whiskey, and started cooking dinner over an open fire. Everything felt normal, routine, just another quiet night under the stars, until something started moving outside his camp.
I don't want you near me. I heard something there. Right, let's go back to camp.
William made the smart call. Head back to camp, finish cooking, and stay alert. He prepared his meal, ate while talking to the camera, trying to keep things light. But the moment he climbed into his tent for the night, everything changed. Footsteps. Clear, deliberate footsteps moving just outside the fabric walls. In such a remote part of Ireland, that sound doesn't belong. William's face shifted instantly. Fear replaced calm. He shut off his lights, keeping only the camera running. Then he called out, hoping, praying for a response. Nothing. Just silence. Heavy, unnatural silence. Afraid of being trapped inside without knowing what was out there, William grabbed his weapon and stepped into the darkness.
I did see chemtrails earlier on. Well, I think that's an 8-time stroll head in the head, definitely. Freak that. Maybe I'll have to check back in the camera.
But whatever had been there was gone. His weak headlamp barely cut through the darkness, revealing nothing but trees and shadows. Then he heard it again. A thump. Distinct. Deliberate. Like something moving just beyond the reach of his light, staying hidden, circling the perimeter.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? That was definitely a thump.
William climbed back into his tent, trying to decide his next move. Should he leave now? Wait until morning. But before he could make a choice, something hit the side of his tent. Not accidental. Not wind. Something thrown or pushed from outside. His heart hammered in his chest. He grabbed his gear and went out again to check. Still nothing visible. But the feeling didn't leave. Whatever was out there wasn't showing itself, and things were escalating too quickly. William made the final call. Pack up and leave. No debate, no hesitation. He broke down his camp in the dark and left that forest, vowing never to return. To this day, he doesn't know what circled his tent that October night. And maybe that's worse than knowing. When you knock 3 times in the woods and something knocks back, you've just announced your presence to whatever's been watching you all along. July 8th, 2025. YouTuber Exploring with Angelo set out on a stealth camping trip in the Mabu Highlands of Canada, an area with a reputation. Multiple alleged Bigfoot sightings over the years, stories of paranormal activity, local warnings about what might be lurking in those remote forests. Despite all of it, Angelo decided to push forward with his trip. The highlands are isolated. Dense woodland, rugged terrain, the kind of place where you can camp for days without seeing another person. Angelo had been enjoying the solitude, icebergs, new trails, and time with friends earlier in the trip. Everything felt like a once-in-a-lifetime adventure until the sun went down.
I don't see any, headlights or anything. And I don't even hear, a car coming through. And there's no, main roads anywhere nearby. I figured I'd just check, might as well. I'd like to know if somebody's coming through. It'd be, oh. What the heck is that? Something there, but I don't have my flashlight, so I can't tell what it is. What is that? Is it a deer? It could be like a bobcat, actually. Hang on. I don't see anything else. Yeah, I definitely got to grab my rifle soon, just in case. I want to know what that is. I'm not going to get too close, but I want to get a little closer. I wish I had my flashlight on me so I can actually see what the heck that was.
That's when things shifted. Angelo heard something, a sound like a car horn, distant but clear. Strange, considering he was miles from any road. He went to investigate. Then he saw it. Eyes, glowing in the darkness, staring directly into his camera. Not moving, just watching. He couldn't tell what it was. Deer, bobcat, something else. but the way it stared unnerved him. Then he heard it again. The honking sound. But this time it came from the opposite direction. That didn't make sense. He'd just heard it from one side. Now it was behind him. Angelo decided to test a theory. The 3-knock method, allegedly a way Bigfoot communicates. He knocked 3 times on a tree.
Okay, I literally just heard honking down that way now. Wait. How's that? That doesn't make any sense. I heard it down there. Ugh. Stupid bugs. Okay. I'm really confused right now. I heard honking down in this direction, and then I heard it again over here, but I don't hear a car running, that's the thing. I don't know, maybe there's other like campers out here somewhere, I have no idea, but I'm gonna start getting the tent ready. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the 3-knock thing to see if something responds, because I mean that's what Bigfoot is supposed to do, right? So we'll try that. First I might as well get the tent ready before I'm too tired to actually even bother at this point. Okie dokie.
No response at first. So he tried again, this time louder, using rocks instead of his hand. 3 loud knocks echoed through the forest. And then, from the darkness, 3 knocks came back. Clear. Deliberate. Matching his rhythm exactly. Angelo froze. He knocked again. Another response. Same pattern. Same direction. Whatever was out there wasn't randomly making noise. It was answering him.
I guess for now, I was going to start building a fire pit, but to be honest, I don't really have enough rocks available. So, alright Bigfoot, if you're out here, show yourself. Okay, that's just a bird. And that's a bug hitting the table. And there's also another giant June bug right next to me. That's fantastic. Yeah, sure, just fly right into the fire. Okay, anyways. Alright Bigfoot, let's go. I mean, you never know, an area like this, it would only make sense to potentially have something out here. Man, that wind is really picking up tonight. Nothing yet, let's try it again. I don't really have anything else other than maybe wood. Alright, let's try maybe with the wood instead. Let's try with these. Okay, that was something. That was legit 3 knocks down in that direction. Let's do it again. There it is again. No way. Nothing that time, but okay, one more time. There it is again. What is that? Okay, there's 100% something down there. 3 knocks, like 3 separate times. Bigfoot? guess we can go down there and check again. Okay, this just got interesting. Yeah, let's go check. Oh, jeez. The heck was that? I literally thought I got caught on something. That was weird. Yeah, I was literally just walking past there. I thought I walked into like a tree, but the little trees are all down there, so I don't know what that was. Okay. So we heard a few knocks. Let's see what might actually be out here. Something moved over there. Probably just an animal, but it's pretty cool looking area. Very, very dense forest. Like, other than trees, there ain't much going on out here. There's a lot of like mountains and stuff, as you guys saw from the drive-in. It's like up, down. That is most of Cape Breton, to be honest with you. A lot of it is like that. Maybe not most of it, but there's a lot of spots that are kind of like that. Oh my god, the bug situation out here is terrible. Hello, Bigfoot? You out here? One thing I did notice, and I know this is kind of a Bigfoot thing, is there's a lot of broken trees. Like, look at this. One there, one here. Oh, screw off, bug. Get off my face. There's another one there. There's like a whole row over here. I don't know if that's just naturally happening or if something is actively doing that out here. Bigfoot? I mean, something was knocking out here. Repeatedly, so... It's creepy out here. Definitely gotta be careful, because there's definitely some dangerous wildlife out in these parts. Bigfoot. Nothing now. What was that? I could have sworn I just saw something like wisp by. I don't know if the camera caught that, but... Hello? Yeah, it looked kind of like foggy almost. Weird. Nothing now. Just complete silence. Wow, okay. Thought I heard movement back there.
Angelo headed back toward his campsite, but the feeling of being watched intensified. Then he heard it, mumbling, low, indistinct, coming from the trees. Not wind, not an animal, something vocal. He called out. No reply, just more mumbling, faint but unmistakable. Then another sound, someone or something calling out in the distance. He scanned the area with his light. Nothing. Complete darkness beyond the beam. But the sounds persisted. Mumbling, calling, movement in the brush. Angelo tried to sleep but managed maybe 10 seconds before his eyes snapped open again. The unease wouldn't leave.
Down off in that direction. What is going on over there? Okay. I just heard somebody call out again. What the hell is that?
18.
18? 18 what? Is somebody down there? Hang on, let me go check again.
He will kill you.
Literally nothing. I don't see a single thing out there. Dude, this... What? Boys? Let me pause this. I don't know. I'm not sure about this place. This is, kind of... I don't know, it's weird. I'm getting a weird vibe all of a sudden. It's like just everything is just changing. If there's something out here with me, show yourself. So many bugs. I think I gotta turn the light down on the camera. I think that's what's attracting them right now. Now all of a sudden it just went quiet. Whatever, I don't fucking know. Yeah, it's just dead silent now. Bigfoot? Where'd you go? You know what? Let's try that again. If it worked the first time, it seemed like something was responding when we were doing this. Nothing now. So why the first time? And it was like it was 3 times. Weird. Okay, well, I don't know if it's gonna rain tonight. The weather over here is kind of, you know, hit or miss. So I think I'm gonna start putting some things away. Actually, cut that whole part. Alright guys, so, I don't know. That was, weird. We were getting something, and I think I'm gonna take it easy for a little bit. Maybe start editing a video. Still got a bunch of vlogs from Newfoundland, believe it or not. We filmed so much vlog content out there. We were already discussing potentially going back next year and like spending maybe, I don't know, 3-4 weeks out there. I know I will. If I have the opportunity to do it, I will do that. My trip after this one is going to be BC. We are going to go to West Coast Canada, and that's going to be after the event at Hillview Manor. And yeah, it should be quite interesting. I had a really good time last year in BC. I know a lot of great haunted and wilderness spots, so we'll be doing a lot of this. And clearly you guys are liking it, so don't forget to smash the like button as well. What the hell? What is that? What is that? What is that? It just sounds like something's walking out there. Like right in front of me. What? It legit just sounded like there was something right there. I don't see anything. I don't understand. What is that? It sounds like something's moving back there now. What is that? I don't know what's going on right now. Guys, I've literally just been sitting here just editing, making the next video for the vlog channel. Haven't heard a single thing, and then all of a sudden it's like the forest just literally came to life. It legit sounded like as if something was moving right here. And I looked, and I didn't see anything. What just did that? Bigfoot? That doesn't make sense though, because it sounded like as if it was right here. That was creepy. Hey! What in the f? Okay, that was really weird. Why did that just sound like, almost like me? Guys, like, something really weird has been happening. Ever since we went to that one spot in Newfoundland, I hear voices, but they sound like me. Actually, to be honest, it hasn't happened since Newfoundland, but all of a sudden... What? I'm literally way too tired for this shit. Hell? Something back there? Oh, I see something. Hang on, what is that? Maybe it's nothing. But I definitely heard that. What? Hang on a second. Just in case. Man, I was having a nice peaceful moment. Something back there? Something I can't see? Hang on, let me put this down for a second. That was weird. I heard something there, then back there. Right after. Just kind of waiting to see if anything comes out. Now it's quiet. I don't know. I don't know if it's just some weird thoughts are going through my mind right now. I'll explain in a moment, but what the fuck? Okay, what in the actual hell was that? Weird. That was not normal. So I'm starting to think maybe something followed me. I don't know. I've been getting comfortable out here, but I legit put my freaking slippers on. Weird. Let me run the spirit box again. See if anything else comes through. Is there something here with me? Something following me? That's hot. Honestly, guys, like, I've just been kind of enjoying the night. Okay, that was just a garbage bag. There's a garbage bag literally right next to the camera. It's like the perfect temperature tonight, the perfect chill factor, I guess, if you will. Okay, well, I'm gonna go to sleep soon. Literally nothing is coming through. Say anything? Now's your chance.
Florence.
Florence? That's a weird one. What do you mean? What about Florence? I am super creeped out. Not gonna lie. I'm out here completely alone. There's no one around. nothing around. And then we hear that.
I'm protecting you.
Oh, thank God. Who's protecting me? I don't even know anymore. Is something following me?
Don't tell people.
Well, I think it's a little late for that. Why not? I don't know why I feel like I'm being watched. I feel so uncomfortable right now. Okay, you know what? Let's just go to bed. And I think we'll just deal with the rest of this in the morning. This is just super creepy, to say the least. I don't even know what to say anymore. Holy crap, man. Honestly, this location, I didn't know what to expect from this. Like, it's very vague. I came out here kind of just on a whim. Figure, if worse comes to worse, I'll just chill. But, like, something's happening. And I don't know what it is. Okay, let me go get the rest of my stuff ready in the tent, I guess. Oh, let's try and make this quick before too many bugs come in. This is like legit the worst part. Especially now that it's late. Okay. Let's get those inside. Oh, the bag is like tearing. The garbage bags I bought are literally not big enough for what I have in them. That kind of sucks, but we're just gonna have to tear it open. I mean, I'll just use it as an actual garbage bag later on. But I'm gonna get my pillow, my blankets. I don't need a sleeping bag tonight because it's really warm, and I'm gonna just start sweating buckets if I try and sleep in a sleeping bag. That would be ludicrous. Alright. Just gonna go grab my rifle, bring it in here, and we're gonna go to sleep pretty much right away. Because I just want to skip tonight and move on to tomorrow. That's the idea right now. That's what we're going with. Whew. Man, am I ever tired? And it's also so like humid and warm right now. Hey, get out of here, mosquito. So, I don't know what's going on out there, but I'm gonna just go straight to sleep and pretend like I didn't hear anything. Hopefully it works. Oh, I'm so tired. Oh my gosh. Oh, Lord.
He is following you.
What the hell was that? I heard something out there. I don't see anything. It legit sounded like it was just down there. You know what? I am not going out there. I don't know what the hell is going on tonight, but this is mildly disturbing. Let's see if we hear it again. Whatever you are, leave me alone. What the hell? Sounds like something on this side now. Oh, it's so dark out there, I can't see anything. It sounds like something like stomp. I swear I still hear it. Okay, now I hear a plane. Okay, I don't know. I'm gonna try and go back to sleep. I fell asleep for like literally like 10 seconds, I think. Oh my gosh. And of course there would be a spider inside the tent, wouldn't there be? Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I slept, not long, maybe about 4.5 hours. I am a little bit tired, but we're currently packing up, which takes absolutely forever. I'm charging all of the battery banks and trying to rearrange the car a little bit so things fit a little better. But yeah, other than those weird occurrences last night, nothing else really happened out here. So that's kind of that, but I'm trying to figure out exactly which route to take out of here to get to the main road. I don't even know which way to go. I'm thinking probably this way should lead to a main road. I'm not even really too sure, but yeah, I'm gonna finish packing up here. I gotta load up the tent and pack all this crap back into the car, and then we'll be back on the road. So I feel like I just said back like 10,000 times, but anyways, I'll be back in a few moments and we'll be making our way out of here. Alrighty, we're finally making our way down this road. I don't even know what's down here. What's going to be hilarious is if I end up finding a spot that would have been way better to camp at. Although, I did enjoy that site, apart from the weird stuff that happened last night. It was a good spot. not too bad. To be honest, I don't even know if this road actually exits or if we can make our way the entire way. It shows that it does, but I honestly don't know, but we'll see what's up ahead. Okay, this is really funny. I accidentally forgot something. Uh-oh. Literally left my bug spray right on the car. Gonna need that for later. All right, let's continue. Damn, I know it's near impossible to see from here, but we made it out. There's something up here, actually. Or is that just a house? I don't know, but I literally just saw the ocean, and it looked absolutely incredible. That is where I'm going to end off this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Of course, if you did, smash the like button, and if you're new, subscribe, turn notifications on, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Love ya. Bye-bye.
To this day, Angelo doesn't know what responded to his knocks that night. Was it Bigfoot? A curious animal mimicking sounds? Something else that calls the Mabu Highlands home? The eyes in the darkness, the 3 knocks, the mumbling. None of it has a clear explanation. But one thing is sure. When you knock in those woods, something knocks back. And maybe that's not an invitation you want to accept. There's something uniquely unsettling about camping on a hill with a reputation. The kind of place where locals whisper stories, where the name alone carries weight. You tell yourself it's just folklore. Just campfire tales meant to spook tourists. But when you're alone on that hill at night, and something starts moving in the darkness outside your tent, those stories don't feel so fictional anymore. Kev's Outdoor Adventures is a UK-based YouTube channel that documents camping trips across the British countryside with his dog, Chow. He's experienced, confident, and not easily rattled. But for this particular upload, he chose a location with a darker edge. Mardale, a spot known locally as a haunted hill. Whether he believed the stories or not, he was about to have an experience that would test his skepticism. The trip started perfectly. Beautiful mountain views, peaceful atmosphere. Chow trotting alongside as Kev hiked up to find the ideal camping spot. By 6 p.m., he'd found it. A flat area with good visibility. Not quite at the summit, but high enough to feel isolated. The kind of spot where you can watch the sunset, cook a hot meal, and enjoy complete solitude. Or so he thought.
Right guys, found our spot. We're going to stop here. It's not quite near the top, but it's a nice flat spot. It's going to start getting dark soon. It's after, what time is it now? It's 5 o'clock now. Sorry, 6 o'clock now. It'll dark within the hour. So to get this lot set up, get sorted out. Now bring us back when it's all up. Turn off a bit. Hi guys, and welcome back. As you can see, it's still light. And I'm getting everything set up. Chow's had a drink, I'm going to give him some food soon. That's the setup for tonight. I'll show you everything we've got later. I haven't got a great deal with us tonight. There's too much to carry up here. But this is our home for tonight. Got the van go around again. It's spitting on a rain. So it looks a bit cloudy. But we weren't supposed to get any rain till tomorrow. But the way it's looking...
Everything went smoothly at first, then up. Gear organized, Chow fed and watered. The weather looked questionable, rain clouds rolling in despite the forecast, but nothing Kev couldn't handle. He settled in to cook dinner as darkness crept across the hillside, enjoying the quiet, the isolation, the simplicity of a night in the wild. But as he sat outside his tent finishing his meal, something caught his eye. Movement, down in the woods below, lights flickering between the trees. People wandering around in the darkness, far from any trail or campsite. Strange, but not necessarily alarming. Hikers sometimes push their luck after sunset. Dog walkers are taking unconventional routes. Probably nothing. Still, Kev kept watching. And the more he watched, the stranger it seemed.
I've had nothing creepy yet. Heard nothing yet. There's some people down there though. The light keeps popping up on the woods. Actually, it's there now. I'll turn this light off. And I'll see if I can get it up. There it is. There's people in the woods down there as well. And you see, I went to go there one time before. Couldn't get. There was lads there, so didn't bother. I went somewhere else in the woods. See, they're all the way down there, I'm up here. To see my light, but they wouldn't walk up here, it's too far. All the way around and then back up again. So good. So I'll turn this light a little bit. It's a bit bright, so you can still see. But I'm gonna chill for a little bit now. Finish this can. Maybe just watch a film a little bit. Chow's still asleep. He's down there. He's flat out. So hopefully it's him for the night. You probably want to pee later on through the night, but it happens. Right guys, I'll bring us back before bedtime. Turn off a bit.
Multiple lights, moving through the woods, no clear pattern, no obvious destination, just wandering. Kev reassures himself, and the camera, that they're way too far down the hill to reach his camp. It would be a long, arduous climb in the dark, and there's no reason anyone would bother. He's safe up here. Too isolated, too far removed. He turns off his light to prove how bright it is, how visible he'd be if he wanted to signal, but he doesn't want to signal. He just wants to finish his drink, maybe watch a film and get some sleep. Chow's already passed out, completely unbothered. If the dog isn't worried, why should he be? So Kev crawls into his tent, zips it shut, and tries to settle in for the night. The wind picks up. Rain starts to tap against the fabric. Normal camping sounds. The kind of white noise that usually lulls you to sleep. But then he hears something that doesn't fit. Something that cuts through the wind and rain with uncomfortable clarity.
Sounds like something's outside. Like walking about. I know it's windy, but what's that? I didn't know if you can pick it up, you can hear it or not. Right guys, I'm going to turn this light off. The fuck? I'm going to try and get some sleep.
Footsteps, slow, deliberate, crunching through the long grass right outside his tent. Not the random rustling of wind, not an animal moving through the undergrowth. Footsteps, the unmistakable sound of someone walking around his campsite in the middle of the night on a hill where he thought he was utterly alone. Kev freezes. Listens. The audio picks it up clearly. Crunch, crunch, crunch. The sound of weight pressing down on grass and earth.
What the fuck's that? I didn't know if you can pick it up, you can hear it or not.
Someone is out there. Close enough to touch the tent if they wanted to. And they're not announcing themselves and not calling out, not using a light, just walking, circling, waiting. You can hear the tension in Kev's voice as he tries to rationalize it. windy, sure. But wind doesn't make footsteps. Wind doesn't walk in measured steps around your tent. He knows what he's hearing. And worse, whoever's out there knows he's inside, vulnerable, separated from them by nothing but a thin sheet of nylon. Kev makes the call to turn off his light and stay quiet. Smart move or not, it's the choice he makes. Maybe hoping they'll lose interest. Maybe hoping they'll reveal themselves as harmless hikers who got turned around. Perhaps just too rattled to know what else to do. The footsteps eventually fade. The sounds stop. Silence returns, except for the wind and rain.
Morning, guys. 7 o'clock. So we wanted to go out. The garden, I need a one. So, rank it up. Get garden. We'll bring us back in a bit. To off a bit.
By morning, everything looks normal. No signs of disturbance, no footprints in the grass, no evidence that anyone was ever there. Kev and Chow pack up and head down the mountain, unharmed but unsettled. So what was it? Were those the same people he saw with lights down in the woods, who somehow made the long climb up in darkness? Kev and Chow pack up and head down the mountain, unharmed but unsettled. So what was it? Were those the same people he saw with lights down in the woods, who somehow made the long climb up in darkness? Was it someone else entirely, drawn to his campsite for reasons unknown? Or was there truth to the stories about Mardale being haunted? Something walking those hills that doesn't show up in daylight or leave tracks behind? We'll never know. Kev never saw who or what was circling his tent that night. But the audio doesn't lie. Someone was out there. And they got close enough to make one of the UK's most experienced wild campers genuinely afraid. That's the thing about haunted hills. Sometimes the stories are just stories, and sometimes they're warnings. Sometimes the most disturbing things you'll ever see aren't hiding in the shadows, they're sitting in plain sight, waiting for you to notice. And once you do, there's no going back. On June 6th, 2025, YouTuber Dundee Hikes was 38 days deep into the Pacific Crest Trail, a legendary 5-month trek stretching over 2,600 miles from Mexico to Canada. By day 38, you've seen it all. Endless mountains, brutal heat, complete isolation. You think nothing can surprise you anymore. But that morning, at a forgotten picnic ground somewhere in the San Gabriel Mountains, Dundee came across something that would stop him cold. A single car, parked at the edge of a cliff, alone, silent, positioned in a way that immediately felt wrong. In the video, you can hear it in his voice, that shift from casual curiosity to something else. Something darker. Here's how it started.
I broke camp at Islip Saddle that morning, and I decided to do like a mile more of road walk before joining the PCT again. And as I approached the Javis Memorial Picnic Ground, I noticed there was a single car in the parking lot, and it was backed up to the edge. But what really caught my attention was that the back tires were way up on the embankment. So that caused me to walk over and take a closer look. And that's when I noticed the rope that was tied to the back and disappearing over the edge. And I really didn't even think anything about it at that moment. I pulled out my camera and I took a little video, something like, "Hey, look at this. This is weird. I guess I'll never know what was going on here." And I started to walk away. And then my curiosity got the better of me.
A rope, tied to the back of the car, disappearing over the edge of a cliff. Think about that for a second. Most people would have kept walking, chalked it up to something weird, and moved on with their day. But Dundee didn't. He dropped his 40-pound pack right there on the dirt and walked closer. And when he finally looked over that edge, everything changed.
And just think to yourself, what the heck is going on here? And unfortunately, knowing that you will never know. Well, my curiosity got the better of me, and I dropped my pack so I could shuffle down and look over the edge. And now I'm hiking back to my campsite where I had some signal so I can call the police and report. And that is not how I wanted to start my day. It looks like the sheriff's department sent a helicopter out, and I know they're sending ground units too. I don't know if the helicopter can land anywhere here though. Looks like the fire department showed up, so the chopper is moving on to the next thing. Well, all the rest of them got on scene here. I gave my statement to the sheriff, and they said they don't need anything else from me, so I'm moving on. And they asked me not to leave, so okay. So apparently they want me to wait until it gets here and make sure it wasn't a... I got an update from the sheriff, and he basically said that fire and rescue showed up, said, yeah, he's dead, and left. So now there's someone else. I think it's crime scene, possibly, but they're going to go down and actually examine the body and try to determine if it was or not.
Within hours, that remote stretch of trail transformed into a crime scene. Sheriff's helicopters circling overhead. Ground units rolling in on dirt roads that barely existed. Fire and rescue crews are scrambling down the embankment. And Dundee stuck in the middle of it all, giving statement after statement, waiting for homicide detectives to arrive and determine one critical question. Was this a murder or something else entirely? The answer came after hours of waiting. The death was self-inflicted. Authorities cleared Dundee to continue his through hike, but you can see in the footage, something about him had changed. The wilderness he'd been celebrating for 38 days had just shown him its cruelest face. A stark reminder that sometimes the trail leads to places darker than any forest. This is one of the most harrowing things you could stumble upon while hiking. A moment that stays with you long after the investigation ends and the helicopters fly away. Experience doesn't always protect you from nature. Sometimes the mountain decides it's going to test you, regardless of how many trips you've done or how well you've prepared. And when that happens, all you can do is hold on and hope your gear doesn't fail. On December 1st, 2024, YouTuber Cora and the Explorer uploaded footage of what might be the most intense wild camping experience I've ever seen. Keith, an experienced outdoorsman who's spent countless nights in the Lake District, set out with his golden doodle, Cora, for what should have been a routine overnight camp at Harrison Pike in Pavey Ark. He knew the terrain. He had the right equipment. The forecast was manageable, damp, sure, but nothing he hadn't handled before. What he got instead was a night of 70-mile-per-hour winds battering his tent on an exposed ridge, hours of genuine fear that his shelter might collapse, and a very real possibility that he'd have to attempt a dangerous descent in complete darkness. This is what happens when the weather turns on you in the mountains, and Keith captured every terrifying minute of it.
And welcome to K&C Outdoors. I'm Keith, and this here is Cora, my golden doodle. I think she's classed as a miniature one. So we're out today in the Lake District, in my most favourite part of the world, and actually the most favourite part of the Lake District as well, which is Dungeon Gill. And we're going to be making our way up to Harrison Pike for a wild camp tonight, and we'll have a good time. But it's been quite damp today, which isn't a bad thing really, because I'm trying out some new gear.
The trip starts perfectly. Keith is upbeat, excited to test some new equipment, and clearly comfortable in his favorite part of the Lake District. The weather's a bit wet, but that's expected. Nothing to worry about. He and Cora make steady progress up the mountain, enjoying the views, taking their time. This is what Keith does, wild camping in challenging terrain, pushing his limits, connecting with the landscape. But as they climb higher, the sky begins to change. Dark clouds roll in faster than expected. The temperature drops. The wind picks up. By the time Keith reaches his planned campsite and starts pitching his tent, conditions have already deteriorated significantly. And that's when the first problem reveals itself.
I would say this is the worst pitch I have ever had. I just couldn't tell with the lay of the land, and it is so on the slant. I just want to roll that way. I'm going to see what bits of spare clothing etc I've got that I can shove onto my bed to try and level it out a bit, even if I can't level out the tent. But it's up, and I've got my down pants and my booties and my insulating jacket and everything on because it's really gone cold, and the wind's starting to get up now. But we're going to have a little rest. It took quite I'm going to rest. Cora's just had her dinner and she's a bit cold, I think, so I'm going to give her some cuddles and get her nice and warm, and I'll see you.
The pitch is terrible. The ground slopes at an angle Keith couldn't see until the tent was already up. He's sliding sideways in his sleeping bag, trying to wedge spare clothes beneath him to level out. Not ideal, but manageable. He cooks dinner, cuddles Cora to keep her warm, and settles in for what he hopes will be an uncomfortable but survivable night. Then the real storm hits. The wind doesn't just pick up, it explodes. What started as breezy conditions turns into violent, relentless gusts that shake the tent so hard that Keith genuinely fears it might rip apart. He's not overreacting. He's not being dramatic. You can hear it in his voice. This is real fear from someone who knows exactly how dangerous this situation has become.
Wind's really getting up now. It's got really up a bit concerned. I have no idea how strong they are, but it's really strong. The tent's getting battered. But I'm double poled and I've got delta pegs in, so at least delta pegs in the come here, love, in the parts that need to be held well. So hopefully it'll hold up well through the night. These little moments of calm, and then the gusts just start in again. So I've just put my little wind meter out. I don't know if it's showing, but there you go. It's showing at the highest of the gusts 70 mile an hour. But the tent, as I say, the double pole, it seems okay. But I'm certainly aware that we might have to bail if it gets any worse. Don't want to, we're quite high up and a long way down. We'll see how the night takes us anyway. But for now, oh jeez. See you soon. Genuinely got me a bit worried now. The wind's unbelievably strong. I'm hoping we don't have to bail because it's a long way down to Langdale, but this is the most worried I've ever been camping. It really is gusting strong now. I'll keep it up to date as we go along, but now it's a worry now, it really is. The weather's still horrendous. It's 5 AM and the tent's just absolutely getting hammered by the wind. Just waiting for it to get light.
70 miles per hour. That's not windy. That's approaching hurricane force winds, and Keith is stuck on an exposed ridge with nothing but tent fabric and aluminum poles between him and the full fury of the storm. He's done everything right. Double poles, delta pegs, and critical anchor points. But there's a limit to what any tent can withstand. And he knows it. The worst part? He can't leave. Not yet. It's pitch black outside. The descent is treacherous even in good conditions, and attempting it in hurricane winds and total darkness would be suicidal. So he waits, hour after hour, listening to the tent fabric scream and watching the poles flex under the pressure, wondering if the next gust will be the one that tears everything apart and leaves him and Cora exposed on a freezing mountainside in the middle of the night. This is the kind of fear that experienced campers know intimately. The helpless awareness that you've done everything you can, and now it's entirely out of your hands. Either the tent holds, or it doesn't. Either the storm passes, or it gets worse. All you can do is wait for dawn and pray you make it that long. 5 a.m. Still dark. Still howling wind. Keith hasn't slept. He's just counting down the minutes until there's enough light to pack up and get the hell off that mountain safely. And when the first gray light finally appears, he doesn't waste a second. No coffee, no breakfast. Just stuff everything into the pack and start descending as fast as safely possible. Keith and Cora made it down. The tent held. But as Keith himself admits at the end of the video, this could have ended very differently. One failed stake. One torn seam. One bad decision to pitch in that exact spot. Any of those things could have turned a terrifying night into a rescue operation. Or worse. This is mountain camping at its most brutal, raw, unforgiving, and a stark reminder that nature doesn't care how experienced you are. Some nights in the wilderness test your survival skills. Others test whether you'll survive at all. On May 22nd, 2021, YouTuber Junkyard Fox headed out to West Texas for what should have been a straightforward primitive camping trip. He'd built a shelter there weeks earlier. Nothing fancy, just a basic structure made from branches and brush. And now he was going back to spend the night, test his bushcraft skills, and enjoy some solitude under the desert sky. The forecast looked good, mid-60s, overnight. No major storms predicted. Just another peaceful night, alone in the wild. But what happened in the early hours of that morning had nothing to do with weather, wildlife, or survival skills. It was something far more dangerous, something completely out of his control. And honestly, he's lucky to be alive.
Okay, so about 15 minutes later, I'd say we're pretty good. So it doesn't take that long to just put the thatching, kind of like weave it in there, kind of tangle it, and then put these sticks on top for weight. Now, is this going to be 100% foolproof from the elements? No, of course not. But it's going to be strong enough to keep the sun out of your face when you're trying to rest in the daytime, keep the winds out of you when you're trying to sleep, so you're not that cold. Now, it's not going to be waterproof. And I did see lightning coming from this direction earlier. And in fact, I'm actually starting to feel raindrops. See that? So yeah, so we're going to be getting a little bit of rain. Now, that's just part of it. In my opinion, that's part of, testing yourself as an outdoorsman, as a prepper, as a bushcrafter, whatever you want to call it. It's not always going to be sunshine and fat steaks. You got to rough it out and you got to get uncomfortable. So if you guys remember last time that I stayed here, the winds were just really strong 30-mile-an-hour winds coming into the shelter, so I was cold. This time it looks like I may get soaked. So luckily I do have a poncho in my haversack in case it gets crazy. But yeah, that's part of it. So the roof is good to go. Now I gotta take this apart and kind of make this better because this is terrible. And once again, there could be some creepy crawlers on there. By the way, I'm not boring you with all this work, but whenever I'm doing all this stuff, because there may be scorpions or something like that, I do have my my work gloves here. And in case you're wondering what's in this box, I did have just yucca seed pods when we were building the shelter because
Everything started exactly as planned. Junkyard Fox was in his element, reinforcing the shelter, explaining his techniques, preparing for the possibility of rain. You can hear the satisfaction in his voice as he talks about testing himself as an outdoorsman, embracing discomfort, and making do with primitive materials. This is what bushcraft is all about. Adapting, problem-solving, connecting with nature on its own terms. The weather cooperated. A few sprinkles, nothing serious. He cooked a meal, enjoyed the quiet, and as darkness settled over the Texas desert, he crawled into his shelter to get some rest. The night was mild, the shelter held, everything felt right. And after a full day of work, exhaustion took over. he drifted off to sleep with no reason to think anything could go wrong. 2 hours later, he woke up to a nightmare.
So it's time to call it a night. Like I said today, I'm not really hanging out in terms of, having some beers around the fire or nothing like that. It's more of a test of, being out here and stuff. And I foresee today being nicer anyway, an easier night, because forecast looks like the night's going to drop to the, early 60s, late 50s at most. So it's really nothing too bad. In case of anything, I do have my jacket here. And then I do also have my shamog down here, and I apologize for the crappy lighting. So in case of anything, I could just wrap that around my face or whatever. And that's about it. So in the morning, I'll wake up and I'll make some coffee. And that's about it for me. So have a good night, everyone. Okay, folks, so change of plans. I was asleep for 2 hours, then I woke up to a truck driving nearby, and they shot my truck. They legitimately shot the windows on my truck. People I don't know. This is crazy. Look, these are my windows. This is insane. Once again, I have no clue who these people are. They're just drunks. I could hear the loud music. That's what woke me up. And sure enough, so I'm guessing this trip is over. Oh man, what a mess.
Gunfire. In the middle of the night. In the middle of nowhere. The sound of shattering glass as bullets tore through the windows of his truck parked nearby. Junkyard Fox scrambled out of his shelter, adrenaline spiking, trying to process what the hell was happening. A group of people, drunk, blasting music, armed, had rolled into the area and decided to use his vehicle for target practice. He had no idea who they were. No prior conflict, no warning. Just random, reckless violence aimed at his property while he slept 100 feet away in a shelter made of sticks. Think about that for a second. If they'd known he was there, if they decided to shoot in a different direction, if one of those bullets had gone wild, this story would have ended very differently. This wasn't a bear encounter. It wasn't a venomous snake or a flash flood or any of the natural dangers you prepare for when camping in remote areas. This was human unpredictability at its worst. The kind of threat you can't plan for, can't defend against, and can't see coming. Junkyard Fox kept his composure, assessed the damage, made the smart call to pack up and leave immediately. His trip was over, his truck destroyed, but he walked away unharmed. And that's the only thing that matters. Because when bullets start flying in the dark, and you're alone in the wilderness with no backup, and no way to know if the shooters are done or coming back, getting out alive is the only win that counts. Was this a random act of drunken stupidity? Almost certainly. But it's also a stark reminder that the most dangerous thing you'll encounter in the wild isn't always an animal. Sometimes it's other people. And unlike a grizzly or a rattlesnake, you can't predict their behavior. You can't scare them off with noise. You can't prepare for the moment when someone decides your camping trip is their shooting range. Junkyard Fox survived. But this remains one of the most disturbing camping encounters ever uploaded to YouTube. Not because of what happened, but because of what could have happened. One wrong move, one stray bullet. That's all it would have taken. Stay safe out there. And remember, the wilderness is dangerous, but people can be worse. Some mysteries don't reveal themselves all at once. They start with something small, a strange mark in the dirt, a sound you can't quite place, and then they spiral into something you can't explain, no matter how hard you try. This is one of those cases. And it all started with a routine trip to check some trail cameras. YouTuber, Welcome to the Woods UK, does what a lot of outdoor enthusiasts do. He sets up trail cameras deep in the British wilderness to capture whatever wanders through when no one's watching. Foxes, deer, the occasional badger. Standard stuff. But on this particular day, after a brutal storm had torn through the area, he went out to make sure his equipment was still standing. What he found instead stopped him in his tracks.
We've had one hell of a storm coming here the last couple of days, so I'm just coming in to check the cameras, make sure they're all still okay, we've got no big trees down and all the rest of it. I have found some really bizarre tracks today. This boot print doesn't match my boot print. It does look fairly old, but it is very strange and it's quite big. So it's definitely a man or someone that wears a very, very big shoe. I'll just spin you around to show you it. Look at that. That's massive. My BK2 next to it. It's just slightly larger than my BK2. Oh, I want to trip myself out. That looks like a toe as well. My God. There's another impression up there as well. But this is seriously something worth noting.
A massive footprint, bigger than his knife, bigger than his own boot. And the unsettling part? It looked like it came from a barefoot. Who walks through a British forest barefoot after a storm? In mud and debris? The whole thing felt off. Wrong enough that he decided this wasn't something he could just walk away from. So he decided to move one of his live feed trail cameras to that exact spot. The kind that sends footage directly to his phone, no matter where he is. If something or someone came back through those woods, he'd know about it.
I think the best bet is to get my live camera, the one that I can pick up on the phone, which I put in a few weeks ago at a different location in the woodland. I'm going to go there now, retrieve that camera and program it onto one of these trees and get a reception, make sure it's working good on the phone, and then I can keep an eye on this area even at home in my bed. So I'm going to go off and get that camera quick. I mean, look at this though as well. These are obviously, these all bent over like an archway. That's pretty cool. But then it's happening there as well. It's obviously some sort of normal phenomena going on there. There's no sign of any sort of camps of people that shouldn't be here either. No fires that have gone out unless obviously they've used that, no trace where they would, I do it myself, make a fire, you cover it over with earth and scatter some stuff across it just so that it leaves no trace. The weather sorts the rest out. I'm going to get that camera though, yeah? I'll bring you back here when I've put the camera up. Right, so all good. I've got the camera just sitting at the base of the tree. I'm going to strap it to this part of the tree here and I'll be able to do a 360 all the way around to keep an eye on the tracks. We're left just there and there going through this part of the woodland. So hopefully if this is someone that's coming in here poaching or just plain messing around, this camera should hopefully catch them, and it'll catch them whether they take the camera with them. I'll have footage of it on my phone, straight directly to my phone, permitting the signal's all good. I think that's the only way around this one. I do feel really, really jittery today. I've come in here a few times since, obviously, checked on the cabin ruin, and I've bought some pilings in for my new cabin, so it's piled in the ground, sledgehammered in the ground, and packed out, and then a frame built on top of that. But obviously that's some distance away from the spot we're at now. So what I'll do is I'll put this camera up and I'll just quickly show you towards the end. I'm probably going to give it a little while before I camp in here. I'm going to see what this camera produces on live footage. It'll ping something back to me, whether a fox sets it off at 2 o'clock in the morning, I'll be in bed, I could even be in Spain on holiday or whatever. This camera will send back the footage that it takes, nighttime, daytime, no matter what. I can control the camera from my phone.
Camera set, location locked in. Now all he had to do was wait. A few weeks passed. The camera sent back the usual stuff, wildlife moving through at odd hours, branches swaying in the wind, nothing out of the ordinary. So he decided it was time to go back, spend a night in the woods, collect the footage in person, see what, if anything, had been lurking around those tracks. But that overnight trip, that's when everything shifted.
Right, so we're well past 10 o'clock. Obviously it's summer months, so the birds are still having a little bit of a chirp about, but I'm absolutely shattered, so I'm going to get my head down. I shall see you in the morning. I don't know if you'll be able to hear, but there's definitely someone out there. Fuck's sakes. 2 seconds. Hello? I'll be honest with you, I feel like going. That might be exactly what I do. Seeing that the break of daylight was only an hour and a half away, I did decide to pack up and get going quite early. There was nothing more that happened that trip. I must admit I was more concerned that someone was walking around injured or out there hurt. So I did do a full sweep of the woodland on packing up. Nothing was out of the ordinary or could be found. Now let's fast forward a few days.
Definitely someone out there. In the middle of the night, in a remote forest where no one should be, he packed up before sunrise and left. But the real answer to what had been moving through those woods, that didn't come until he reviewed the trail camera footage a few days later. And what he saw is something he still can't explain.
There was an odd little light that came on the camera one night when I was sitting in bed. I had a notification, it pinged on. And then all there was this funny little orb looking thing, up to the middle left hand side. I eventually writ this off as some sort of bug that had come down. So let's fast forward 3 days post camp that you've just seen. Early Thursday morning at 4:12 AM, this figure comes into view. Almost looks like it's trying to pull something down from a branch above, acting in a peculiar manner. Then the camera takes a further 2 still shots of it moving further off to the left hand side of the woodland. So why is this person there at that time of the morning? Why do we keep hearing these shrills and shrieks? Is it paranormal?
There it is, 4:12 AM. A figure moving through the trees and pulling at branches, moving in a way that doesn't quite look human. And here's the thing, the UK doesn't have large predators. No bears, no elk, no wolves. So if it's not an animal, then what the hell is it? A person wandering barefoot through the forest in the dead of night, making shrieking sounds that don't match anything in nature? The uploader still doesn't have answers. And honestly, neither do I. This is one of those cases that sits in the back of your mind, unanswered and unresolved. Hopefully, he goes back with more cameras, more footage. Because right now, all we have are questions and that grainy image of something moving through the dark. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the follow-up. Because if he finds out what that thing was, you're going to want to see it. A solo explorer known for spending nights inside abandoned places. This time, his destination was Spooner's Rail Tunnel, New Zealand's longest disused tunnel, built between 1891 and 1893. It stretches nearly a mile under the hills near Nelson. Entering condemned structures carries real risks, unstable floors, poor air, and sometimes, people. The explorer begins his recording at dusk. He plans to spend a full night inside the tunnel. A single flashlight, a dog, and a camera. At first, the tone is lighthearted, almost casual.
The nerves are really starting to kick in now.
What? I want to be spending a night in this thing. Oh no. I don't know about this, guys. What the frick? Oh no.
Inside, moisture drips from the ceiling. Every sound lingers for seconds. Footsteps, breath, the echo of his own voice.
Here it is, everyone. Spooner's Rail Tunnel. It was built in, there we go, 1891 to 93. And man, look at the length. 1,352 meters. This is the longest disused rail tunnel in New Zealand. Oh man alive. I don't know how far I'm going to go into this thing. I've got to find a place to set up camp though somewhere, and it has to be in the tunnel, so I'm going to venture in. From what I remember, there are little manholes throughout this tunnel. Before we even go into the tunnel, as you can see, it's totally pitch black. It's too dark to go in there without any form or source of light, so that's the next thing we need to get out of the pack. Oh, there's my baby. This is my massive dolphin torch. It's a really good torch, as you can see. It pretty much shines right down to the end of the tunnel there, so this thing will do the trick, I'm sure. Alright, Max, you ready for another adventure? Another overnight challenge?
As night settles, he moves deeper into the tunnel and finds a narrow section dry enough to camp. He lays out his gear, shares food with his dog, and spends several minutes filming the silence. The faint drip of water, the distant hum of wind. Later, when the lantern burns low, he decides to continue exploring beyond his camp. From that point, the footage begins to change. Subtle at first, then unmistakably wrong.
Here it is. Woo! Max! Oh, oh my gosh, damn, drop. I hear some sort of tune out of it. Max, come here! Come here. Max. Who's that? Who's that, Max? What the actual? Can you guys hear that? Oh. Max, where is it? I don't know if you guys can hear this on the camera, but there's something. What is that? What the? Hello? What is that? Max, what is that? Hello? Is there somebody here? That's just creepy as... What the hell? Is anyone here? What is that? Oh! Back! Hurry up! Back! Back!
To this day, what happened inside that tunnel remains uncertain. Some believe the noises came from a person living in the darkness, perhaps someone trying to drive him away. After the incident, he waited outside until sunrise, unwilling to step back in. He left without injury, but with a recording that continues to divide viewers. Every few months, the video resurfaces online, followed by the same question: what else was down there that night? Dozens of mannequins, an abandoned caravan, and a sign that reads, "The second best exotic COVID hotel." Travel with Gary and Amika is a YouTube channel run by a Scottish father and daughter exploring the UK in their camper van. In this video, they were visiting Tensmere Forest near Rose Hardy Beach. Everything was perfect. Laughter, scenic views, another wholesome family adventure. Then night fell, and they found something that didn't belong.
We just heard some voices, and Amika was like, "What's that noise?" Wasn't it?
Yeah.
So we just stopped to look in these woods. Look at how scary that is. Put the torch on. Whoa.
Look.
look at that one. That one's got red and black hair.
That is weird, isn't it? Look at them, they're everywhere.
Eek.
Here's even one on the ladders.
Oh, there's someone lying on the ground. Without
Falling
any
over. Look at the one on the ladders, going up the tree.
legs. Oh, yeah.
What about the washing line over there to the left? Yeah, there. Keep it there. That is weird, isn't it?
There's one over there that isn't actually a person. There's a doggy there. I don't know.
Owl in the tree. And there's a whole house there.
A whole house full of those?
Yeah. Let's have a look at the house. Come on.
Yeah. I
Shine
love
it. Shine it at the caravan.
Whoa. It's all about ladies, that one is.
It's an old house, isn't it?
Yeah.
And there's a car.
All with them in.
Oh, then stop there. Yeah. What's the sign say?
Which sign?
There.
There.
Stop.
The
The second best exotic COVID hotel. And the old car as well. So that is probably the weirdest thing I've ever seen in some woods. What do you reckon?
Yeah.
There's still a bit more, look. Keep going down.
At first, just voices in the distance. Gary and Amika stopped, shone their torch into the trees, and saw them. Mannequins. Dozens of them. Scattered around an old abandoned caravan. Some stand upright, others positioned as if doing chores, hanging clothes, climbing ladders. Frozen mid-action. One had red and black hair. Another wore sunglasses. Gary laughed nervously, but the longer he filmed, the stranger it felt. Someone had arranged these figures deliberately, posed them carefully, and left them here in the middle of the woods.
There's another caravan there. Shine on that caravan.
Oh. What are all those things in the trees?
Yeah, like pumpkins, aren't they? It's a huge place, isn't it?
Look!
They've turned that one into a dinosaur, look. It's like a dragon. With sunglasses on.
Sunglasses are real glasses!
Are they?
What is this place?
I don't know, it's weird, isn't it?
Go with an ice cream. There's a car coming up there. I'm moving this way.
Not got a clue. Cool though. Found it quite cool to look at. Right, this is where we paid to get in down here.
Then they found more. Another caravan. More mannequins. One turned into a dinosaur with sunglasses. An old rusted car. And in the center, a handmade sign. The second best exotic COVID hotel. Gary and Amika didn't stay long. They filmed quickly and returned to their camper van. The question remained, who set this up? Why position mannequins like a frozen community in the woods? And why go to such lengths to create something no one was supposed to find? To this day, no one knows. The site still exists somewhere in Tensmere Forest, waiting for the next person to stumble across it. What if trees could answer back? May 12th, 2013. A father named Montgometron took his two young children, Daisy and Declan, for a walk through Eber Gorge, a natural park in Somerset, England. Just a regular family outing, until the trees started responding. The father encouraged his kids to make noises in the forest, probably hoping for an echo. But when Daisy squeaked, something squeaked back. And it only happened after she made the sound first.
Right, Daisy and Deacon, make the noise, see if the tree will talk to you. Did you hear that? Right, say it again, see if it'll talk to you again. Right, shh. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I think it's a tree herder.
It's a tree herder.
Yeah.
It's doing it again. Make a noise, Daisy, see if it'll talk to you. It did. Do it again.
And again?
It did.
Go on, make a noise. Say hello.
I think it's tree beard.
Say hello in tree language. Right, shh. He said hello back. Amazing.
The pattern repeated. Daisy called out. The forest answered. Again and again. The timing was too precise to be wind, too consistent to be a coincidence. The father's voice shifted from playful to uncertain, searching for any explanation, calling it a tree herder, then a tree bear. But the sound wasn't random. It came from a specific direction, as if something among the branches were mimicking her voice. The video sparked massive debate online. Some claimed it was trees responding to drought stress. Others suggested trees possess consciousness we don't yet understand. Scientists know trees communicate underground, but do they also communicate vocally? That's different. The most disturbing part is the timing. Why only after Daisy spoke? Why not before or continuously? And why has no one recreated this at Eber Gorge since? Montgomatron never addressed it again. No follow-up, no explanation. Just footage that still divides the internet over a decade later. Was it natural, or did they stumble onto something that wasn't supposed to answer back?